The Bears' hard-to-hide secret weapon has become a short yardage expert.
If I was a linebacker and I saw him coming to me, I'd turn and run. I think you got to have a little bit of fun in football, and it's fun for him. You know, he feels like he's involved. He feels like, you know, he's contributing.
But the fun could be over for the undefeated Bears if their quarterback, Jim McMahon, banged around last Monday night by the Packers, is troubled by a hip bruise and a tender ankle. The number 2 man, Steve Fuller, is also playing hurt with a back injury. That would leave Ohio State rookie Mike Tomczak. 24 years ago, a Georgia rookie quarterback, Fran Tarkenton, led the expansion Minnesota Vikings to their first victory in the NFL, an upset of the powerful Chicago Bears. Tarkenton's successor is the dangerous Tommy Kramer, whose touchdown pass to Leo Lewis in the closing seconds gave Minnesota a win last Sunday over San Diego. Today, Kramer leads the Vikes against favored Chicago. Can Minnesota be the first? Everybody, I'm Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field. And Johnny, a key game for the Vikings.
It certainly is, Tim. As you see, the Bears are 7-0. If the Vikings don't win, they would be 4 games behind Chicago. A division title would be almost impossible. They'd have to fight for a wild card spot. So this is a big game for both teams, but especially the Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikes tied with Detroit. The Lions at home today against Miami. The Bears won the toss. And Jan Stenerud gets things underway as kickoff comes down a yard deep. Willie Goff, the conference's leading kickoff returner, gets it out over the 20 to the 23-yard line. And Chicago will start for the first offensive series. David Howard making the tackle on Willie Goff. Jim McMahon, playing hurt, comes out at quarterback. Walter Payton, Matt Suhey, the running backs. Dennis McKinnon and Willie Gault are the wide receivers. Covert, Bortz, Hilgenberg, Tom Thayer, Keith Van Horn, and Emery Moorhead is the tight end. The offensive line for the Chicago Bears. Undefeated in 7 consecutive games. The only other team in the league with that record, the Los Angeles Rams. Most of you will see them later today against the 49ers here on CBS. First down from the 22-yard line of Chicago. McMahon, with what can only be described as a bruised butt that has been bothering him, will throw on first down, and he flares it out to Payton. Payton takes it up to the 25-yard line, a gain of about 3 yards. Good defensive reaction by the veteran Fred McNeil, playing for the injured Chris Martin. And defensively for the Vikings in their 4-man front, Elshire, Martin, Mullaney, and Keith Millard. The linebackers, the rookie Dolman on the left side, Studwell, the veteran, in the middle, Chris Martin, the injured Chris Martin, unable to go today with a knee injury, and McNeil will be there. In the secondary, Rufus Bess and Willie Teal on the corners, Browner and Nord are the safeties. So it is second down and 7. Chicago at their own 25, opening offensive series. Early movement by the Vikings. McMahon gets it out to Moorhead. Moorhead breaks a tackle and takes it to the 40-yard line. Met there by a pair of Vikings. Carl Lee, number 39, making the initial contact, and the offside signal is against Minnesota. A 16-yard gain. The Bears will refuse the penalty.
Number 79 declined. First down.
Number 79 is Doug Martin, the left tackle.
The Bears were quick to take advantage of that situation. They knew they had a free play, so McMahon just stuck in there, got it to Moorhead, broke a tackle by Dennis Johnson. So the Bears quickly on the move.
The Vikings move to a 3-man front now with Tim Newton, number 96, the rookie from Florida, on the nose. Martin and Mullaney become the defensive ends. Dennis Johnson comes in at linebacker. They give us to Suhey. Suhey trying to get wide. Pursuit by Studwell, and good coverage again on the wide running play by the Vikings. It was McNeil who got him, and it was Studwell who forced him to run a little deeper than he wanted to. They may have gained a yard on the play.
That was a heck of a play by both the linebackers, as you're going to see Studwell and McNeil, 54. They don't go with the action of Payton the other way. They hand off on the counter to Matt Suhey. And look at the pursuit by the inside and the outside linebackers, Studwell and McNeil. Great play by the Minnesota Vikings, because Payton can be a great decoy. They didn't go for it that time.
5 defensive backs in on 2nd and 9 from the Bears' 42. Man to Payton. Payton trying to get a block wide. Runs into his own blocker, but got about 4, maybe 5 yards on his own individual effort. Studwell and McNeil, again, the tacklers. Fred McNeil, 33 years of age in his 12th year, cut earlier in the season, re-signed by the Vikings, and now finds himself back in his old starting role because of the injury to 3-year man Chris Martin today. It'll be 3rd down and 4, Chicago, from their own 46-yard line. McMahon will move to the shotgun.
Kenny Marjoram is in the game for Chicago.
3 wide receivers, McKinnon in golf with Marjoram. Here's McKinnon in motion. Early movement again by the Vikings. McMahon and whistles now as the flags came down. Keith Millard, number 75, was one of the obvious culprits. Question always as to whether they were drawn.
Encroachment, number 75, first down.
Fred Wyant, our referee, number 11, blames Millard for the infraction.
It must be something that McMahon is doing also, because more than one Viking actually jumped off, a couple or 3, so there may be a little trick of the trade for Jim McMahon on his cadence count, because the Vikings have been off twice now, and that's the key one. That gives them a first down.
At the Viking 49-yard line, actually the 48. So the Bears into Minnesota territory on this first offensive series. 12:33 remaining in the first period. Suey in a wide throw set. McMahon going deep. He's got a man open, but it's overthrown. Intended for McKinnon. McKinnon tripped over the 20-yard line, but I don't think he was going to catch up to that ball anyway, Johnny.
No, it was thrown a little bit too far, and Carl Lee was on the coverage that time. McKinnon playing with a sore knee, and they're a little bit worried about it being an arthritic knee because he's had constant problems with it after surgery. And of course, he's one of the keys to the Chicago Bear offense. Catches for 18.3 yards per carry, but good coverage there.
McKinnon practiced only 1 day this week. He's been bothered with that knee all season long. They give him a lot of leeway during the week in practice, hoping that he'll be ready to go on Sunday. And he had a little quad muscle injury as well this week. 2nd and 10. Man, lots of time up the middle of Moorhead. He's got a first down to the 32-yard line. And it is Joey Browner with a good tough tackle on him, but a Bear first down. The Vikings came up with a loose ball and claimed that there was a fumble, but the play had been whistled dead. Another 16-yard gain for Moorhead.
Yes, and that had to be a perfect pass because Moorhead was well covered. Now, if you can see off the play action, and the Vikings put the blitz on, Studwell is stopped there on a good block. As you can watch the tight coverage, Nord was right there, and Moorhead went up and made the grab. Very perfect play by the Chicago Bears, and it had to be perfect because it was well covered.
The ball at the 33-yard line of Minnesota. First down. No score in the game. Opening offensive drive of the Chicago Bears.
Blitz
for McKinnon. Touchdown. Dennis McKinnon with a real good adjustment to the ball, Johnny.
He certainly did. As you can see that the Vikings put the blitz on again. This time he threw it to the outside of McKinnon, who was beating Carl Lee, but he was over to his outside shoulder, and he had to take his head away from the ball and adjust and then dive into the end zone. A heck of a play by Dennis McKinnon as the Bears strike quickly. A couple of penalties help the cause for Chicago. Dennis McKinnon.
For the point after, the rookie Butler, Fuller holding. Kevin Butler from Georgia, number 6. It is good. So the Chicago Bears march down the field. A couple of miscues by Minnesota contributing, and it is 7-0 Bears. The Bears have opened the scoring on their first offensive series, going 78 yards in 7 plays, and using up 3:31 on the clock. 2 rushes and 5 passes. McMahon to McKinnon, 33 yards out.
And so goes the strategy that the Bears were thinking about, trying to run the ball because of the fact that they fear Tommy Kramer's quarterbacking so much. They tried, short kick.
Short kick to Buster Rhymes at the 19, and Rhymes, second only to Gault in the conference on kickoff returns, gets it over the 30 to about the 32-yard line. And
yes, I think the refrigerator man, William Perry, was in on that tackle.
The Vikings will bring out Tommy Kramer at quarterback, and he has been poisoned for the Chicago Bears. Darren Nelson and Anderson, the running backs. Lewis and Carter, the wide receivers. The line, Rouse, Boyd, Swilly, Tausch, Irwin, and the tight end, Steve Jordan. Tommy Kramer.
The Bears are in their 46th defense on the first play here on defense.
In motion comes Carter, number 81, and Kramer will throw. Kramer has a man. It's the tight end, Jordan, close to the first down yardage. Number 83, Steve Jordan.
A heck of a play by Jordan as they beat the 46 defense. He had man-for-man coverage. Wilbur Marshall had to cover Jordan all over the field as you look at the defensive line of the Chicago Bears with Hartenstein, McMichael, Hampton, and Richard Dent. And linebackers Wilson, Singletary, and Marshall, who was on the coverage that last time. And there is the same defensive secondary they've had all season, anchored by the free safety, Gary Fenson.
Steve Jordan caught 8 passes last week against San Diego as the tight ends got 12 overall in that game. Second and less than a yard. Darren Nelson has the first down yardage. A flag on the play.
It's going to go against Minnesota again, I believe.
Fred Wyant signaling the penalty against the Vikings.
Anderson went forward. You can go in motion, but you got to go sideways.
Alfred Anderson, the second-year man from Baylor.
Illegal motion, number 20. Second down.
Well, they charged Darren Nelson, number 20, with the infraction. We thought it was Anderson. The effect is the same. A 5-yard loss will leave it second and about 5.5. The ball now back at the 36-yard line of the Vikings. All the talk this week in Chicago has been about the refrigerator. Their number 1 pick, William Perry, who's become an offensive running threat. We may or may not get to see him do his thing here this afternoon. He was in on the tackle on that kickoff. Second down. Up the middle quickly to the tight end, and Singletary has Jordan immediately after a gain of only a couple, and getting in on it as well was Wilbur Marshall, number 58. A pickup, well, a little more than we thought on forward progress. It will be about a 4-yard gain to the 40-yard line and leave third and a long yard. Perry comes in. Hartenstein comes out for the Chicago Bears. Perry normally plays in the short yardage situations defensively, and as we commented, and you no doubt have heard and read, he's now playing on them offensively. Carter, Jones, and Lewis, the wide receivers for the Vikings. The rush is on, and Perry has Kramer.
William Perry, who has hit the national scene like a rocket, a skyrocket. That time he's playing on defense now. He just busts himself through and goes right by. That was Swilly, I believe, and just comes in for the sack as Kramer had no time to even get a short pass off. William Perry now one of the last of the two-way players.
Well, the Vikings will have to punt after the 9-yard loss. Greg Coleman to Kent Taylor of the Bears. Good kick by Coleman. Taylor at his 20-yard line has got some running room. And a good tackle, a loose ball. Play whistle dead, however. It is Bears ball at their 32-yard line as the ball popped loose after Taylor hit the ground. And with 8:42 remaining first quarter, Bears 7, Minnesota nothing. Here at Soldier Field, Perry with his first sack of the season, and look how big he is literally here in Chicago.
A full page in the Chicago Sun-Times. He's become an instant hero here with his what he did last Monday night and what he may do today. I guess maybe Tim Newton might be that man, who knows, for the Minnesota Vikings next week after this game, because we have rumors that he's going to be after the refrigerator man down on the goal line.
Sometimes Perry Poster in Chicago. First down Chicago, and open up the middle. The tight end Moorhead, his third catch on 3 passes to him, and he has a first down in Vikings territory. A 17-yard gain for Moorhead. Nord and Dolman on the tackle.
Well, I was getting back in my seat, didn't get a chance to see that play too well, but one thing you can notice about Jim McMahon is that he'll look off. Watch him look to the right, and then boom, just on a delay, Moorhead comes out of the line and then takes off down the field, breaks a tackle, and makes another key catch.
Moorhead's third catch, 48 yards so far from Emery Moorhead, who seems to get better and better with every game. Give us to Payton.
Look at the
got
blocking.
3 blockers in front. Breaks 1 tackle, trying to get to the 40-yard line. And it was Joey Browner who stopped him after Willie Teal got a hand on his ankle, but Payton just kept going forward.
Actually, Willie Teal did a pretty good job considering what he had to contend with. As you're going to see 3 offensive linemen get out quickly. There they are. You can see Bortz and Thayer, and then Mark Bortz, 62, knocks Teal out, 37, but Teal gets a hand on Payton's foot and kind of makes him stumble and does a good play considering the circumstances when you have a 275-pound lineman coming at you.
8-yard pickup for Payton, who needs 157 rushing yards for 14,000 on his career. Payton again. Has the first down, made a nifty move to break the first tackle, ran through a pair of linebackers, Studwell, and the defensive end Doug Martin pulled him down. But it's a first down Chicago as they get a first down on the ground this time to the Minnesota 32.
And Walter Payton has always had his best days against the Minnesota Vikings. He has more yards against them than any other team, including one year, remember, he rushed for 275 yards in one game, almost 2,000 yards against the Vikings. And Bud Grant says he's still the heart of the Chicago Bears. That's what he told us yesterday.
Payton has the Vikings number. Kramer has had the Bears number, but so far he hasn't had the opportunity early in this game. Lots of time for McMahon, but good coverage downfield, and he had to throw to the release man, Suey. An excellent response by Willie Teal and Studwell as they had Suey hit as soon as he caught the ball. There will be little, if any, gain on the play. Excellent defense as McMahon had time to look downfield, but the coverage was there deep by the Vikings secondary. They'll give Suey just a yard.
He probably wears the biggest face mask that you'll ever see on a quarterback. He has a huge bird cage there. Wants to protect those pearly teeth, he says. Doesn't want to get him knocked out, and I don't blame him.
Chicago with 106 yards of offense with 5:50 remaining in the first quarter. Minnesota has only 5 yards. The Bears have had the football. Suey gets away from Best, but Best did a good job turning him into the traffic. Suey pulled down by Doug Martin and Willie Teal after a gain of maybe 5 yards. It'll leave 3rd and a long 3. Well, a little more than that.
Okay, you're going to see, here's Rufus Best, number 21, coming up here in on the tackle, and he just crosses over too far, and Suey cut back, and there was a great block by Payton on that play on Mulaney, of all people. Backs don't usually like to block those defensive ends.
3rd down and 5. Chicago at the Viking 27-yard line. In the shotgun, McMahon with 3 wide receivers. Ball's in motion, reverses his field. Inside handoff, Payton, big hole. First down, Chicago to the 21-yard line. Studwell, the team leading tackler on the Vikings, with Neil Elshire putting the stop on Payton, but not before Chicago's first down.
They're getting huge chunks of yardage as it's just an inside handoff. Bortz comes across on a great trap block. Had it not been for Studwell, who filled the hole quickly there, Payton could have gone for a big yardage as Bears moving the ball at will here early in the game. There, as I was mentioning, his 275 yards against the Minnesota Vikings.
Vikings stay with their 3-man front. Newton on the nose, Martin and Mulaney the tackles, 4 linebackers, and McMahon didn't like something he saw on first down at the 22, and the Bears will take a timeout. So we have 4:12 remaining first quarter at Soldier Field. Chicago 7, Minnesota nothing. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field where the Bears lead 7-0, and the Bears approaching Perry territory at the 22-yard line of Minnesota. In motion, McKinnon off the ball. Fake pitch out. McMahon eludes the rush. Galt in the corner. Out of bounds. Incomplete. Galt actually found himself out of bounds, tried to get back inbounds. You can't do that to begin with. He did catch the ball, and as it turned out, he had at least 1 foot out of bounds.
Well, you can see a great reaction by McMahon after the fake here. As you can see, Studwell almost had him dead to rights, and McMahon got away from him and had to ad-lib it, and the Bears almost came up with a touchdown as Galt was out of bounds. It was a good call. Now, here comes Mark Mulaney after McMahon throws the ball and gives him a little shot there. But he says, no, I didn't touch him. No, I had tried to stop.
extra defensive back in. 5 of them now in the secondary on 2nd and 10. McMahon flares it out to Payton. Payton has Browner to beat. Can't do it. Good work by Joey Browner, number 47, who was right there as the ball arrived, the third-year man from USC, and drove Payton out of bounds.
You know, that was a super play because Browner had to take Payton man for man out there after Payton caught the ball, and he's really having a good season. He's at home at the strong safety spot. He's come up with a lot of key fumbles and forced fumbles and interceptions, playing very, very good football, and that was an example of it because how many times have you seen Walter Payton take guys out there in the flat like that?
4 down linemen now for the Vikings on this 3rd and 5. The ball at the 17-yard line. 3rd and 5. And is 7 of 9 at this point. Steps up away from the rush and hits Payton. Payton to the 10. A flag is down. Payton has first down yardage. Studwell made the tackle, and the flag is going to be against Chicago. Interference, offensive interference is the preliminary signal. We'll hear it from Fred Wyatt momentarily.
Now they might have called that on. I'm going to take a guess here. They might have called that on Payton. I'm not sure because the flag was real late, and he had come over the middle.
Pass interference, number 34, 3rd down.
You got it, Johnny.
Yes, I think he pushed off, and that's one of those situations where a defender confronts the offensive receiver, and it's the referee's judgment as to who pushed off or who was doing something illegal. And Payton got a little push off and got a couple steps there on Studwell, but that's a big job for Studwell anyway, under any circumstances, to try and cover Payton.
3:53 to go in this first period, with the Bears backed up now to the Vikings 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 15.
This is a big series for the Vikings' defensive confidence to stop the Bears here.
Brad Anderson goes wide right, number 86. Kenny Marjoram wide left. 2 new wide receivers in the game on this passing situation. And in the shotgun.
Galt was in the backfield.
Galt. And again, good defensive reaction. And it was Rufus Best, number 21, who made the tackle. After a gain of maybe 5 yards by Galt, who was lined up in the backfield with Payton.
And you knew something might happen because Galt 83 did not go in motion or anything. He stuck there, and it can cause problems for a defense, but not for Minnesota on this play, as they were up to the task of stopping Willie Galt. So the Bears are going to go for a field goal, and this used to be Minnesota's meat. They used to block all kinds of field goals, but with some of the new rules they put in, they haven't done it as well the last couple, 3 years.
A 40-yard attempt by Kevin Butler. Steve Fuller will hold. Against the wind. And Butler has it. Kevin Butler, the Georgia rookie, widens the Bear lead. The Vikings kept them out of the end zone, but the field goal makes it now the Bears 10, Minnesota nothing. 40-yard field goal, his longest of the season, gives the Bears a 10-0 lead here in the first half. This good kickoff taken by Buster Rhymes. Rhymes takes it outside, gets around Taylor, and is forced out by Taylor with Butler, the kicker, coming over to get in on it. Rhymes, second only to Galt in kickoff returns in the conference, is always dangerous. Well, for an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Well, Tim, the Washington Redskins have jumped up against the Cleveland Browns. Here's Joe Theismann hitting his rookie wide receiver, Gary Clark, made it 14-0, and the Redskins are threatening again. Let's go back to Tim and Johnny.
All right, Brent, and we note that Detroit has taken the early lead over Miami in that game. A big one for the Lions and the Dolphins, indeed. Battling the lead in the AFC East. Lions tied with the Vikings in the NFC Central. Kramer on first down. He's got Nelson wide open. Darren Nelson a first down to the 35-yard line. And Leslie Frazier forced him out, a 13-yard pickup, and nobody had young Mr. Nelson.
They certainly did not, as the Minnesota Vikings are not trying to set up a running game. They don't bother to do that anymore. He just hits these short passes to his backs and tight ends, and Nelson had a lot of running room that time, went out of bounds, first down, and all of a sudden the Minnesota Vikings are deep in Bear territory, and that shows you what a good kickoff return will do for you.
They are at the 34-yard line. It's their first down of the first half. They've had the ball only 2 minutes and 37 seconds until this series. They give it to Anderson. Anderson got away from one tackle. Dent missed the shot at him, but Wilbur Marshall was right behind the second-year man from Florida, and wrapped him up after a gain of 2, maybe only a yard on the play.
Wilbur Marshall, a Bear #1 draft choice a year ago. As you could see the linebackers adjusting, and you could see Marshall, who got a game ball last week, played off the block by Jones, and then Jordan, I should say, and comes up to get Anderson. Wilbur Marshall, who is growing into his linebacker position very quickly after the holdout by Al Harris.
And even as it develops, a loss of about a half yard on the play. Forward progress by Anderson didn't get him to the line of scrimmage with Marshall reacting quickly. Anthony Carter, Leo Lewis, and the wide receiver. On 2nd and 11, the blitz on. Good move by Kramer. Kramer to the tight end, incomplete. Intended for Jordan, with coverage by Singletary. And a good move by Kramer, who just seems to have that knack to be able to duck up under the rush, generally coming forward inside the pocket. And talking to Kramer, he said, well, it's a challenge to play the Bears. He said, I think they've got the best defense in the league, and I like to go out there and try and beat them, and he's been very successful at it. Contrarily, the Bears defensive coordinator, Buddy Ryan, and all of the Bears players have enormous respect for Kramer.
Well, he completed 28 out of 55 a few weeks ago when the Vikings were beating the Bears handily until McMahon came in.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down. Kramer sideliner, and it is caught, and it is complete inbounds. Carter made a dandy catch. Anthony Carter with coverage by Leslie Frazier, and it's a Viking first down.
And that's the first pass Anthony Carter's caught in quite a long time, as Kramer just threaded the needle this time because he was well covered by Les Frazier, and it was right there. He hung onto the ball, had gotten a yard beyond the first down marker. Perfect play by Anthony Carter, who someday is going to be much more of a vital factor in this Viking passing game.
He's been playing a bit hurt with that pull.
He had a hamstring pull. There's Bud Grant.
Your gray sweatshirt on the sideline. He liked it cold. I think it's too warm today for football in Chicago.
Here they come.
The blitz on, and in the corner it is incomplete. Intended for Carter again, just overthrown. He had a step on Frazier. And Wilson led the charge on the blitz, number 55 for the Bears.
And Kramer did the right thing. The Bears came with the all-out blitz. You send your wide receivers up and try and beat the corners man for man. Look at 55, Otis Wilson really decked Kramer after he got rid of the ball. And that's the way you got to try and beat the Bear defense, because they throw everybody at you, and you got linebackers covering tight ends by themselves and one-on-one on the outside many times.
2 tight ends are in. Steve Gordon joined by Mike Belarkey, number 86. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Minnesota trailing 10-0.
Here they come again.
First period. The corner pass for Leo Lewis, well overthrown. Kramer simply had to let that go far too early. While he saw the blitz coming, it was coming in hard by Marshall, and he just didn't make a good pass on that one because he had to throw it too soon. It'll leave a 3rd and 10.
And Ken Taylor was out there on the corner for the Bears on that particular play.
In comes Darren Nelson. Out goes Anderson offensively for the Vikings. Big play for them here in terms of the early portion of this game. A 10-0 Bear lead. 29 seconds remaining first period. The first opportunity the Vikings have had to do anything offensively in the game. 3 wide receivers. Leo Lewis, last week's hero, in motion. The pass up the middle is complete. What a pass by Kramer to Anthony Carter. Made a good catch. A flag down on the play. He got to the 15-yard line, short of the first down, but a flag on the play.
And we look at the Bears bring everybody but the kitchen sink here. 50 Singletary's coming up the slot. So is Wilbur Marshall. Kramer does a great job of getting the ball off, and a good catch, but it's all for naught as the Vikings
holding number 68. 3rd down.
Freddie Wyatt calls Curtis Rouse, the left tackle, one of the 2 300-pounders on this Viking roster. And he's called for the hold. And there's a discussion with the Bears here. Bensick and Singletary talking it over.
Holding number 68. 3rd down.
With Fred Wyatt, the referee. So it'll be 3rd down. The ball will be spotted at the 33-yard line. 3rd down over again. The Vikings, who, as we said, coming into this offensive series, have had the ball for only 2:37 of this first period. Are going backwards now, having gotten deep into Bear territory at the 22. And time winds down to end the first period here at Soldier Field. With the score, the Chicago Bears 10, the Minnesota Vikings nothing. Jim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field, where the Bears have a 10-0 lead. And the Vikings have the football in Bear territory, but a long third down at the 33-yard line of Chicago. Elsewhere, the Redskins leading Cleveland 14-0 in the first quarter. St. Louis ahead of Houston 7-0 in the first period.
And look at this, Detroit, the Lions have a 10-0 lead over Miami. That's a first quarter game. And Green Bay losing to Indianapolis 14-0 first quarter. And let's see what the Bears do with Tommy Kramer this time. Will they try him? They blitzed him about 5 times in a row. He's back out of the shotgun. Let's see.
Ken Taylor working on the corner.
Yes.
Richardson injured. They're going that way, but it's going to be Jones, the intended receiver. And the ball came up short. Flags are down. Sean Gale had the coverage. And it may be an interference penalty against Chicago. The ball was underthrown into the wind.
It didn't look like he was going to catch the ball, but I believe Gale got his hands over his face there and kind of obstructed him. He would not have caught the ball, so it's a bad penalty for him to take.
Pass interference, number 23, first down.
It cost the Bears 27 yards and a scoring opportunity now for the Vikes.
The Bears had safety blitzes on Kramer. He threw the ball up. There's 23 covering on Jones, 89. The ball was short, and he put his hand right across his face and he knew he had done it. He knew he had done it. Good call.
First down at the 11-yard line of the 6-yard line of the Chicago Bears. First and goal. This is Nelson. Nelson gets close to the 1-yard line. Good blocking out the right side by Swilly, Tausch, and Irwin. The right side of the Vikings offensive line. And Nelson, not a big guy, but quick and likes to run inside at 5'9", 180. Just hid himself among the big guys.
And the refrigerator is coming in, not on offense, but on defense this time, along with Tyrone Keys, number 98.
Bears goal line defense gets ready here on second and goal from the 1-yard line. 10-0 Bear lead. Vikings on the doorstep. 2 tight ends are in. Jordan and Malaki. Anderson and Nelson, the running backs.
Kramer
side left. Darren Nelson, and touchdown. Nelson was hit behind the line, but squirted in with his forward progress. And the Vikings have put 6 points up on the scoreboard as we have just begun the second quarter.
Let's take a look at it as the Vikings come across with a lead blocker. Sometimes when you're that close, you can have somebody knife through, but this time they got some good blocking up front, and Nelson just kind of scraped his way through, got into the end zone with a little persistence, and the Vikings are back in this football game, and oh, how important a penalty can be. His first touchdown of the season. Darren Nelson, who caught 12 passes last week and has really become a vital part of the Minnesota offense.
John Stenerud for the point after, and he has it. So the Vikings back in the football game, and in that first period, we keep talking about the time, but get this, the Bears with 9:33 against 5:27 in the first period, but now they lead by only 3.
The refrigerator, William Perry, 72. Let's watch him this time, because the refrigerator torpedoes and gets buried by Brent Boyd and Dennis Swilly. 72 right there. He submarines, and the Vikings say, okay, down you go. And of course the run went off tackle, and the refrig was no factor.
And it's Willie Galt returning Stenerud's kickoff from the 5-yard line and gets well upfield to about the 37 before he's stopped by Carl Lee. So the Bears will have good field position after the Vikings had reduced the margin to 3 points, going 46 yards in 8 plays, passing 5 times, running for 3, and using up 3:31 on the clock. In that first quarter, the Vikings had -1 yard rushing and only 30 yards passing. But now we have just a 3-point game. The Bears will start from their 36-yard line, trying to stretch their victory scheme to 8. The Rams later today against the 49ers here on CBS. Julian Payton in the pro set. McMahon on first down to Galt, and incomplete. Ball was outside. Galt looking inside. When he adjusted, couldn't get to the ball. Carl Lee on the coverage.
And good coverage by Carl Lee, and that's an example of how good that catch was by McKinnon. That time Galt was under the same circumstance. He had to turn his head from the ball and look to the outside, and he completely lost it. So it shows you how good of a play McKinnon came up with.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 36-yard line, pardon me, of the Chicago Bears. Ball left, McKinnon right. Takes the draw play. McMahon steps up and flips it off to Suey. Suey has the first down to the 49-yard line of Chicago. And Carl Lee made the tackle, number 39. Lee in Bess's spot on the left corner for the Vikings, and he does alternate there somewhat with Bess.
And the icebox was after him, too. Tim Newton, as you see, McMahon goes forward in the pocket. He was looking downfield for McKinnon. Then he's so good at spotting his secondary receivers. And you look at 96. Here comes the icebox after Matt Suey, and he just kind of more or less missed him. But if he had got him, it would have been a pretty good blow, right?
The icebox is a svelte 290, down from 300 plus.
So we've seen 98.
That's all. Did he? Well, he's back up again. A couple of cheeseburgers. His assistant coach, Johnny Michaels, gave him that nickname after the refrigerator was getting his early season publicity as the #1 pick of the Bears. Here's Payton. Payton picks up about 5 out the right side, driven out by Joey Browner, number 47 of the Vikings.
Well, I hope we can see that play again, because you can see what a great runner Walter Payton is at the time, because Dennis Johnson came across the line of scrimmage. He's 52. It was supposed to be a trap block. Watch 52. Comes across there and jams up the trap, and Payton played off it and went outside of Dennis Johnson and ad-libbed his way for some yardage. But it was Dennis Johnson with a heck of a play, but Payton still was able to get some yardage out of it.
Vikings still in the 3-4 defense. They'll rotate between the 4-man fronts and the 3-man fronts. Walter Payton on first down has been dynamite for the Bears this season. Second blitz, a long 4. McMahon reads blitz. The pass from McKinnon, overthrown, incomplete. Good rush by the Vikings. Teal had the coverage deep. Studwell was among those leading the charge. And it'll leave a 3rd down. Anderson and Marjoram come in offensively for the Bears, 86 and 82. The tight end Moorhead and the fullback Suey come out. Mike Ditka with the clipboard and the sunglasses on this beautiful day in Chicago. Temperatures in the 50s. 4-2 against the Vikings since becoming head coach of Chicago.
And he has won 13 of his last 14 NFC Central Division games. Now that's some kind of record.
4-man front now on 3rd down. Millard and Elshire in for the Vikings out of the shotgun. Here comes the pressure. McMahon steps up. The pass for Gall, and a real end-over-end pass from McMahon. Gall had no chance to catch it, and he was wide open. And McMahon really unhappy with himself on that one.
What had happened was Carl Lee was on the coverage, and when Galt ran his pattern to the sideline, Lee slipped, and then Galt ad-libbed his pattern up the field because McMahon was kind of scrambling around and couldn't quite get the pass there.
That pass looked as bad as that haircut.
Yeah, that's... Well, he said he hasn't had to get a haircut for 6 months since he got a cut in training camp.
It is 4th down. Darren Nelson is waiting for it at the 15-yard line. And Buford, number 8 for the Bears, angling for the corner. Down there deep is Gentry. It bounced over his head. And it'll be a touchback. Dennis Gentry was down there in plenty of time to try and keep it out of the end zone. The ball bounced in front of him and then popped up over his head. So the Vikings will have it from their 20-yard line. 12:37 remaining first half. Bears 10, Minnesota 7. To be able to see Green Bay at home against the Bears and Minnesota at home against Detroit next week. That all begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern Time. First down, Vikings from their own 20-yard line. Play action fake and the pass up the side. What a catch by Leo Lewis. And Lewis out of bounds with a first down in Bears territory. Little Leo Lewis makes a dazzling catch, and he caught it over the rookie cornerback Ken Taylor.
That's right. The Vikings apparently went right after Taylor because Taylor's in for Mike Richardson, who has a kind of a pulled hamstring, and he has good coverage, but this is a question of Lewis looking back for that ball, leaping up. He has great leaping ability and makes the grab. Key play for the Vikings. Of course, Viking fans won't forget the catch he made last week, and that was kind of like that, reminiscent.
It was the winner in the end zone against San Diego. Well, they roll him out of bounds in Viking territory at the 49. First down, Minnesota. Kramer has him rolling. Forced out of the pocket. To the short man, it's complete to Darren Nelson, and Nelson gets up. Nobody had tackled him, so he picks up another yard, and Ken Taylor puts the hit on him there. Mike Richardson, the veteran and the regular on the corner, left the game with a hamstring pull. Ken Taylor, a free agent from Oregon State.
Okay, you can see that he gives a little bit more room. Sometimes the defense will dictate that, because you can see Duerson, 22, going out there as the short man, and this was an ad-lib pattern because of the fact that Kramer rolled out and they made a completion out of it. So Ken Taylor on the spot.
Yes, he is. And Nelson got to within the length of the football from the first down yardage with that second effort. And a little discussion on the field here about whether they're now going to ask for a measurement, perhaps. And I don't know what the delay is. Kramer, I think, is suggesting that they'd like to have a look. And they're going to bring the sticks out.
This is a great situation. I love it. 2nd and 1. You know, you got almost a free play, and it's a really a good time to try and surprise them and throw something that they might not expect.
Kramer 6 of 9 for 76 yards. In his last outing against the Bears, he was 28 of 55 for 436 yards. That's the night, of course, that McMahon came in, injured and all, and threw 3 touchdown passes as the Bears won the game. But a big night for Kramer, and he has been successful against Chicago. And as he said yesterday, it's a challenge. There's no special reason why I play better against them, but I understand what they do defensively. I like to throw against their blitzes, and I've had some luck with it.
And the other thing is that as you look at Bud Grant, who has a 25-21 record, the Vikings over the Bears over the years, and the Bears have won the last 4 games. Another thing about Kramer is that he's a tough guy. You know, you can intimidate quarterbacks. You hit him a few times, you put blitzes on him. I don't care who you are. Everybody reacts to the physical a little bit differently, and he gets even more feisty when he gets hit a couple of times.
Speaking of other quarterbacks, Peter Brock, the Rams quarterback from Canada, from the Canadian League, is going to be featured on our halftime show in the NFL today. Brent will be joined by Hank Strand in our studio. Second and about the length of a football. The measurement proving nothing. And it is first down. Minnesota. Darren Nelson gets to the 40-yard line of the Bears, and he's hit by Wilbur Marshall.
And he hung onto that ball. Did you see Marshall, 58, trying to pull the ball right out of his arms?
There's Darren Nelson, and Nelson was somewhat the victim in that game against the Rams. He was the guy carrying the ball who didn't get into the end zone. That might have given the Vikings what would have been a deserved victory that afternoon. But he's given the ball here in this short yardage situation. Delivers the goods, and he runs well inside. Carter, Jones, and Lewis, the wide receivers, and they're all stacked out to the right side. Now in motion comes Carter, back to the near side. Nice snap. Good recovery by Kramer. Kramer intended for Carter, almost intercepted on the deflection by Duerson. And a pretty good lick by Fensick broke up the play as the ball just popped out of the hands of Anthony Carter.
A heck of a play by Kramer under the circumstance. Watch 45, Gary Fensick, come up here and hit Carter. As Carter goes up to the ball, here comes the hit. He just goes for the body and jolts it loose, and there was almost an interception there by Dave Duerson. But Kramer did one heck of a job. Gary Fensick, Sports Illustrated, said they had a poll of NFL players, and he's the #1 of all the cheap shot artists.
He's pretty objective.
Yeah, he hits hard, but he's not really a cheap shot artist, I don't think.
He said it was only 14% of the players were polled. This is Nelson trying to get wide to the near side. Good defensive reaction by Richard Dent, number 95. And right there with him, Leslie Frazier, number 21. There'll be a gain of about a half yard on the play. And we'll leave the Vikes with a 3rd down.
Okay, this is, you can see a little delay counter type of action as 20 fakes to the right. Nelson goes back to the left. Irwin throws one block, but there's great pursuit by Richard Dent, 95. Great speed for a defensive end who led the NFC in sacks last year. So now, what will they do? Here comes Tommy Kramer. He knows the Bears can blitz like crazy. Will they blitz? Looks like the linebackers are off.
Tyrone Keys in it, left defensive end, 3rd down,
No blitz.
half, another high snap. He gets lots of time. And his pass is overthrown, and Lewis tried to bring it down. Again, the ball tipped. The Bears with somewhat of a chance for an intercept. Leo Lewis just couldn't climb high enough at 5'11" to haul in that one. So it is 4th down, Minnesota, and Greg Coleman comes onto the field. The Vikings defense, the Bears defense, holds the Viking offense here on this drive with 10:06 remaining in the first half.
The one thing that Coleman has not done well this year so far is kick that many inside the 20 out of bounds. He's been working on that. He only has 4 inside the 20.
And Taylor waiting for it at the Bears' 10-yard line. Coleman angles for the far corner. Bearcats signaled by Taylor. The ball bounces down. Will be downed at the 2-yard line by Joey Browner. And so Coleman delivers the goods perfectly. 38-yard punt drops at the 2-yard line of the Chicago Bears.
And the Bears 2 by Joey Browner.
And our opportunity to remind you about our special next Saturday on CBS Sports. Quest for the Crown, the NBA's 40th season, which promises to be one of the greatest in league history. Many of you saw the debut of Patrick Ewing this past weekend, and Kareem and Magic on a mission to make the Lakers the first team to repeat for the title in 17 years. Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Houston's Twin Towers of Samson, Olajuwon. Lots of excitement in the NBA this year. Next Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Catch our preview here on CBS Sports.
Okay, the Vikings better watch out. The Bears have taken a lot of chances this year and done a lot of trick things in unusual situations.
This is an unusual situation to do a trick thing in. I'd be curious to see it. And here's Suey, not too tricky, but effective as he plows for about 4 yards over the 5, and will leave a 2nd and about 6 with Joey Browner and Chris Dolman, the rookie from Pittsburgh, making the tackle.
Boy, there are some interesting scores around the NFL. Buffalo leading Philadelphia 10-0 second quarter. St. Louis 10-3 over Houston second quarter. Where do you see some of the others coming? Indianapolis 17-7 over Green Bay. How's your office pool coming along? Seattle 7-0 over the Jets in the second quarter.
2nd down, long 5 for the Bears. Out of the slot in motion comes McKinnon. Suey again. Suey, pretty good hole, gets to the 10-yard line, but well short of the first down. Trying the left side behind Covert and Bortz, and Mark Mulaney with a good defensive reaction. The veteran number 77. Tampa Bay looking for their first win, beating New England 14-6.
The Buccaneers deserve a win. They've lost 7 games and a lot of tough ones. In Detroit, 17-7 over Miami. That's the second quarter score.
3rd down and about 2 yards to go. Bears at their 10-yard line. Payton has the first down over the 20 to the 22-yard line. Interesting little formation that time with Suey set up a little bit ahead of Payton, and he makes a good block.
Okay, the key guy here on this kind of a play is the middle linebacker, 55, Studwell, and you can see the block was jammed up on him, and he gets a double block from Matt Suey, comes along and hits him, and Payton came right through the hole and got a key first down because the Vikings really had Chicago bottled up on the 2.
Brett McNeil making the tackle. McNeil looking for the injured Chris Martin. Vikings have Matt Blair about ready to come off injured reserve. The linebacking core. The blitz is on, and McMahon up for Willie Gall. He's got it. The ball comes loose, incomplete. Willie Gall with coverage by Lee had a step on Lee, and the ball was there. He may have been out of bounds had he held on to it.
Well, it was a situation that a lot of times Tommy Kramer is in. The Vikings came with the all-out blitz. McMahon saw it. So what do these days? They just let the wide receiver takes off the field, and you hope that he can beat the cornerback who's on coverage. And Galt did have a step, but Lee made the most of it there as he put the hit on him as the ball came in and kind of stripped the ball a little bit loose as he was coming down the field. So
good play by Carl Lee.
He salvaged the play there for Minnesota.
The play indicated he would have been inbound. 2nd and 10. They give us to Suey. Suey trying to get wide left. Studwell in pursuit. Studwell took quite a shot at him.
Yep, he's going to get him
down. as Suey dives to the 30-yard line. That looked like it was a pretty good right cross by Scott Studwell.
But it looked like he actually missed. It looked like he was trying to hit him in the head, and he may have just skinned the top of his head, yet he's going to get a penalty out of it. So I think he got him more for intent than the infraction. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll get another look at it. But anyway, it's going to be a key penalty because it's going to give a first down to Chicago.
Personal foul, number 55, first down.
Studwell, he plays this game with a lot of intensity, and he might have been a little too intense on this play. And he says, I never touched him. You can hear him say that all the way up here.
Okay, he plays off the block there by Jimbo Covert. Now, the Vikings had this play stopped. Now, here, watch his right arm. See, he took a shot at him with his right hand there. It looks like he missed him.
I think Suey dove under it.
Yeah, I think he dove under it, so he was, it was intent to harm, I guess.
Yeah. There wasn't much doubt about him taking a swat at him, but it is a penalty against the Vikings. Studwell told us yesterday there's no love lost between these two teams. He wasn't giving any on that play. First down. Bears at their own 44-yard line. Play action. McMahon gets time, and the pass intended for Marjoram incomplete. Good coverage downfield by Willie Teal, who was with Marjoram step for step. And no opportunity to get turned around and get at that ball that was thrown a little long. So it is 2nd and 10.
You know, the Vikings are putting pretty good pressure on McMahon. He hasn't had all that much pressure this year. The Bear offensive line has done well. I know they've added some blitzes, but McMahon's having to move around quite a bit in that pocket and throw hurriedly.
Now, he's been effective on first down passes throughout the season, and when Peyton has been given the ball to run, he's been doing it. They've averaged 6 yards a play on first down. Big part of their success.
That's a key statistic. 6 yards a pop on the first is very impressive.
7:25 to go first half. This is Suey. Suey on the draw, and it's very well read by the Vikings. And it was Elshire. Check it. It was Doug Martin, number 79, the 6-year man from Washington, who made the ankle tackle. And it'll be 3rd down and 9.
As the Vikings bring in another defensive back, they use a lot of nickel, 6 defensive backs sometimes.
Isaac Holt among the backs in on this play. The rookie from Alcorn State, their number 2 choice.
Turner's in.
Turner's got 4 interceptions. A former Viking traded to San Diego, cut by them and re-signed, and he's been having a good season for them.
Big play.
3rd and 9. Ball in motion. For McKinnon. Overthrown. Diving try by Dennis McKinnon, but no real chance to catch that football. Browner and Turner had the coverage deep on McKinnon. And so it is 4th down, and the Vikings defense, which has been a very steady, if unspectacular, force for the Vikings in their first 7 games. The defense has been doing a very steady job, and they do it again on that series. 6:37 to play first half.
They are 9th on total defense, which, when you think about last year, of course, they had a lot of injuries, but what a vast improvement for a lot of reasons, Bud Grant being one of them. Look at that one.
Buford's angled punt through the end zone for a touchback, but a dandy punt by Buford. 55 yards for Maury Buford with the win. 6:29 to go first half. Bears by 3. He's now throwing with the wind. It's not always an advantage, is it? It depends really on how the wind's blowing.
That's right. We got a fairly strong wind in one direction. It doesn't usually blow both ways, does it?
No, not as far as I know. But except at Shea Stadium in New York, it does.
I'm still waiting for the icebox and the refrigerator man to collide.
Everybody in this stadium is waiting for that, too, although the Vikings coaching staff hasn't acknowledged that the Iceman is the man designated to take on the refrigerator, but we're told the 2 tons of fun might meet each other if they get
That's right. We have some secret scouts.
That's right. All right, let's see what happens. Here at the 20-yard line, the Vikings will start. First down, 6:29 remaining in the first half.
46 defense for the Bears.
Kramer throwing into the wind on first down, and that's incomplete. Might have been intended for Jones. The ball bounced in front of Anthony Carter, but it was much closer to Jones. There was obviously a miscue between passer and receiver there.
We keep mentioning 46 defense. Of course, it's named after former Bear player, Doug Plank, and the Vikings even use a version of the 46 defense, and so do some other teams, so that because it's been so successful for the Bears. And basically, you move another linebacker over on the other side of the line, you shift your line over, and linebackers cover tight ends man for man, and you can do all kinds of things out of it.
2nd and 10, Vikings from their own 20. They trail by 3. Play action. Lots of time for Kramer, now running out of it. Gets the pass up, complete to Lewis. What a catch by Leo Lewis, and what a pass by Kramer, throwing out to his left side. A 14-yard gain and a 1st down.
Now here's what happens if you don't blitz him and you just put a straight 4-man rush. Now they got some pressure on him, but there aren't very many people around here. So then Kramer gets out of it, throws on the run, and look at this pass, considering the situation he was in, and a good grab by Leo Lewis, and Kramer can kill you that way. So what will the Bears do the next time? Let's see what they do. It's interesting. It's like a game of chess. Tommy Kramer watching those Bear linebackers and defensive linemen and trying to adjust.
Goes down from their 34-yard line. Anderson, the running back, in motion. They go out to him. He's hit immediately by Wilson, but a gain of about 5 yards. And Bud Grant told us yesterday that's the kind of pass they like to throw to their backs, to get them downfield, not to throw the swings to the backs behind the line of scrimmage and make them cover more real estate. He likes to have them get down 4 or 5 yards, and that was perfectly executed there. 2nd and 5. Big Alfred Anderson.
And Bud Grant, who's a guy who has really just kind of forgotten about the whole thing about establishing the run. His whole philosophy is just get the ball quickly to somebody, and he said that's better than a run block because there's so many things have to go successful to make a run go. If you can get a guy with the ball in the flat or a couple yards downfield, that's just as good.
2nd and 5, straight drop by Kramer. Sideliner is picked off by Dave Dewerson. Dewerson intercepts, and there's a little punch-up back at the line of scrimmage. Dennis Swilly and one of the Bear players, Wilbur Marshall, but meanwhile Dewerson has the first intercept of the game.
I'm not sure whether he overthrew number 20, Darren Nelson, or whether it was just short to Leo Lewis, but anyway, Dave Dewerson was right in the middle of it, number 22.
Dewerson's 3rd interception of the season. Gets a kind word from Buddy Ryan on the sidelines and his teammates. Dewerson, like Wilbur Marshall, having to kind of prove himself to the fans because he is the replacement for holdout Todd Bell, as Marshall is for Al Harris. And they have so far shown that they are up to the task of filling those Pro Bowl shoes. 1st down Bears at their own 49-yard line. They give it to Payton. Payton out the right side. And oh, what a good play. And it's Chris Dolman, the rookie from Pittsburgh, who fought off the blocks and made the tackle, and Payton getting up slowly after they hit by Dolman. I think somebody else fell on top of him, and he's favoring his left knee at the moment. 7 carries, 44 yards for Walter Payton so far, and a 1-yard gain.
And a man who just broke the Bears scoring record. He has 630 career points. Now let's watch Dolman. He's number 56. Bortz tries to throw the block on him. He goes over the block and then makes the ankle tackle and brings down Walter Payton. And it's hard to tell where he got hurt.
2nd and 9, Chicago play action. McMahon screen pass Payton. Payton gets 1 block, but again, good defensive reaction. Joey Browner coming up. Browner has been around Payton all day. And that gain is about maybe 2 yards. We'll leave a 3rd and 7.
Terrific play by Browner. I mean, Payton had a good situation out there. He had a blocker, and Browner got through, made the ankle tackle.
3rd-year man from USC, was their first choice in 1983. Had somewhat of a shaky rookie year. Of course, Bud Grant doesn't play rookies a lot anyway. And with the new coach Les Steckel last year, some changes in the positions he was playing, and this year really settling in at safety. 6 defensive backs in on 3rd down for the Vikings. The Vikings 49. McMahon sails it downfield for Marjoram, and Marjoram, what a battle for it. Who's got it? It is Willie Teal with the interception. Teal and Marjoram, and Willie Teal made a spectacular catch.
It was a flag pattern by Kenny Marjoram, number 82, and Jim McMahon threw it out there, and watch Teal. Marjoram made a real good job of trying to prevent the interception because the ball was thrown out way over more towards Teal's side, and they fight for the ball. They both have an equal right to it, and Marjoram makes a super grab, but Teal hangs onto the ball and actually became the receiver, and Marjoram became the defender. A key play for the Vikings. First down, but deep in their own territory, but they'll take it, I'm sure.
Willie Teal's first interception of the season gives them a first down at their own 8-yard line. So they get back the one they lost to Duerson just moments ago.
Let's see if they go after Ken Taylor.
Darren Nelson squirting ahead, got a good block inside. Steve McMichael made the tackle, but a pickup of 5, maybe 6 on the play. McMahon, we were talking about him being 0 for 5 at one stretch here in the second period. In the first quarter, he was 7 of 8 and a touchdown. In the second period, he is 2 of 9 and an interception. So the Vikings defense has turned things around against McMahon in the second quarter. 3:06 to play, first half. 2nd and 6. Kramer, sideline, incomplete. He had all kinds of coverage there and threw it out of bounds deliberately. For an NFL update, let's go to our studios in New York and Brent Musburger.
Well, Tim, the Dallas Cowboys explode with a big play. Good blocking up front. And watch Tony Dorsett. He'll do the rest. 60 yards for a touchdown. And now the Cowboys have come back and they lead Atlanta 14-10. Back to Tim in Chicago.
All right, Brent. Dallas at 5-2 atop the NFC East going into the game today. Giants behind them at 4-3. 3 wide receivers in on third down for the Vikings. Nelson alone set back. Give it to Nelson, and Nelson has a good hole and bashes for the first down yardage, and he's got it. Gary Fensick put the hit on him, but credit the second effort by Nelson to get to the marker, and so the Vikings advance.
They disdained the pass that time and figured the way the Bears had lined up defensively that they would just try and create a crease. They just had a crisscross block and a nice trap, double trap. Terry Tausch threw a good block there as Darren Nelson got through it as they trapped the left side of the Bear defensive line, and that was a key play. First down, they maintained the ball. That was a heck of a play by the Vikings. The lineman really split the Bears open that time.
Nelson, 19 yards on 6 carries. First down, Vikings. Good shotgun, and the pass off to Nelson. Nelson will be close to the first down. Oh, he'll be short by about a yard. Fensick reacting to knock him out of bounds. Nelson's been a busy guy in this first half.
Why is Kramer so great? Watch 22. Dave Duerson will come blitzing up the middle. Comes through Scott Clean. He knows right away if Duerson comes, that means a linebacker has to come over and cover the back out of the backfield, and no chance for him. And finally, Gary Fensick gets over to knock him out of bounds, but it was really Singletary who had to get over and make up the difference there.
Tommy Kramer accepts the challenge, and in the second quarter, he started to really make things happen for the Vikings. They still trail 10-7. 2nd and 1. 46. Nelson, good hole. And Duerson with a good reaction to prevent that from going a long way. But it is first down Minnesota as we've reached the 2-minute warning here in the first half at Soldier Field. The Chicago Bears 10, the Minnesota Vikings 7. Their own 32-yard line. Tommy Kramer, 9 of 17, 104 yards at the moment. 10-7. Bear lead, 2 minutes to play first half. The pass tipped and incomplete, intended for Leo Lewis. Somebody appeared to get a hand on that.
Yes, Lewis had inside position for the little quick post, and Kramer was real frustrated because they had another first down play on that one. We may see that play again.
You see Kramer looking over to the sideline to pick up the signal from Mark Trestman, the assistant coach on the sidelines.
Boy, Tommy Kramer, he's a guy that's paid his dues, hasn't he? Some of the injuries he's taken.
Sure has. What a tough guy, and that's something that has a very large measure of respect from the Chicago Bears. Great drop this time. Kramer steps up in the pocket, hits Anderson. He's dropped immediately by Singletary. A gain of maybe 4-5 yards on the play. It'll be third down at 5.
It's amazing how Kramer moves around in the pocket that time. That was a 4-man rush. They were really caving on him. He just kind of He's not what you call a scrambler, but he floats forward in the cup and sideways and just kind of has a knack of finding the place so he can get the pass off.
We talked to him a couple of weeks ago during another game. He said, I'm not a runner. He said, don't get me wrong. I don't consider myself a runner or a scrambler, but he does have that sixth sense and eyes in the back of his head. Up the middle for Jones, overthrown, incomplete. Intended for Mike Jones, number 89. Les Frazier had the coverage, and Mike Richardson has not returned to this game for the Bears in their secondary with his hamstring injury, and so the rookie Ken Taylor continues in his cornerback spot. But the Bears did the job defensively on that series. Minnesota will punt with 1:12 remaining first half.
Now Coleman's going to be kicking against about a 10 or 15 mile an hour wind, I would guess. It's pretty strong against him in his face.
There's Ken Taylor waiting for it at the Bears 25-yard line. Coleman, a low kick, takes a Bears bounce. Well, unusual bounce. Didn't help anybody. Didn't help the Vikings. It comes down at about the 34-yard line where David Huffman covers it for Minnesota. 29-yarder. So Chicago with 1:03 has good field position and ample time to make something happen here, starting from their own 34. And shortly at halftime, the NFL Today will have Hank Stram in our studios with Brent Musburger. You'll get scores and highlights from around the league and a special look at Dieter Brock, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber star in the Canadian Football League. LA's Canadian Rocky now with the Rams and with an unbeaten football team. At 7-0. Later today, they play the 49ers here on CBS's doubleheader game. Inside handoff to Payton. Payton gets good blocking and will be close to the first down. Running behind Tom Thayer. Thayer stayed on his feet and took a couple of guys out without leaving his feet. And Payton followed along in his wake. 56 yards on 8 carries.
That's 7 yards. 8 times 7 is 56, isn't it? It used to be. That's a pretty good average.
First down. He just did get to the marker.
There's Mike Ditka there with the short sleeve sweater on. Has been dressing rather dapper this year. He said, I want to dress like a winner. So far it's worked.
All at the 46-yard line out of the shotgun. Short pass. Green. Suey gets a block from Hilgenberg and is close to the first down. It'll be a gain of about 9 to the 45-yard line of Minnesota. Out of bounds with 49 seconds to play first half.
They won't show up in the box score, but Joey Browner came up with another super play. He had to defend his way through a couple of offensive linemen there just to make that tackle.
Second and about a half yard. Browner has been a force in this entire first half. He's been a very significant figure. And in many cases, it's looked to me as though they've had him keeping a close eye on Payton because he's made a number of good plays on Walter Payton.
Second
Down out of the shotgun. Quick pass out to Moorhead. Moorhead has the first down, stops the clock at the 40-yard line. 46 seconds remaining. John Turner forced him out, number 27.
Now as they gradually get into field goal position, remember that 15-mile-an-hour wind I mentioned would now be at the Bears' back, so they could attempt a fairly long field goal. They're now at the 40-yard line.
Instead, a score handed us to us. Detroit leading Miami 24-14. And there's how the Bears have been moving their pass attack around. 4 to the tight ends, 9 to the wide receivers, and 5 to the running backs. And for Galt, and Galt gets out of bounds after a gain of about 8. Carl Lee on the tackle, number 39. Chipping away downfield.
Okay, and you can see that Lee is running with them. Galt turns in, goes back outside, and Lee reacts, and it was basically the short pass pattern. Now, they're playing pretty darn tight in this kind of a situation. That was a pretty tight. Basically, they've been playing off quite a bit, allowing the Bears to go down 5-6 yards a clip. They just don't want to get beat for the touchdown and then hope for the best on the field goal try.
Carl Lee, probably the fastest Viking the entire roster. He's probably going to see a lot of Willie Galt today. 7 defensive backs in on 2nd and 2. Shuey has a hole and a first down. But he's in the field of play with 35 seconds on the clock, so the Bears call timeout. Lee and Nord made the tackle for the Vikings. 35 seconds remaining first half, and the ball is now at the Vikings' 27-yard line.
And Jim McMahon will go to the sidelines to talk things over with Mike Ditka. So far, we've seen not much sign of his injury. He's got a bad, his fanny's a little sore, and he's got a sore ankle.
He said his fanny was a lot sore when I talked to him at practice. I guess it's like a deep bruise. And I said, well, you know, does it hurt mainly when you get knocked back on it? And he said, actually, it's when I pull out from center and I make that little turning step for a handoff or the setup in the pocket. He said, I can really feel the pain deep. And so that's what was his primary concern. He seemed to write off the ankle. He said that didn't really, it was not that big a deal, although it was very sore on Monday night.
Now, I think they may have sent him 2 plays with McMahon. Of course, he has audible capabilities and has done so much on his own out on the field of calling audibles. And as Mike Ditka said, he's making me look like a great coach with some of his checkoffs at the line of scrimmage. Now, on the Vikings side of the field, they see there's 35 seconds. The Bears have, what, 1 timeout left?
1 timeout remaining. 35 seconds on the clock. See, Kevin Butler is not resting down there. He's stretching those legs out. He might wind up being in a field goal kicking situation shortly. Stephon Humphreys has come in at left guard for Mark Bortz for the Bears. Humphreys number 75. First down. Shotgun. McMahon eludes the rush. Gets the pass off to Suey. Suey has the first down and he's out of bounds. And there was McMahon showing the similar talent that Kramer has to be able to skip away from those on-rushing linemen and complete the pass on the run.
Just a straight 4-man rush by the Vikings, and they put pretty good pressure as they do a little crisscross, and Mark Mulaney, 77, was putting the pressure on there, but McMahon went forward in the pocket a la Kramer and hit Suey, who has quietly had a very fine season for the Chicago Bears. And they're not using that much time on the clock. Still 28 seconds left.
McMahon now 13 of 22, 136 yards, and he's hit his last 4 in a row as they're now at the 17-yard line.
They got to be thinking touchdown now, not so much field goal.
28 seconds for the play. Up the middle, incomplete. And it was over the head of Matt Suey. It was thrown deeper, and it may have been a little mix-up on the part of the receivers and the quarterback on that play. Willie Galt was also in the center of the field, down deep, running a post pattern. So those are the ones that you're not sure exactly who made the mistake. 24 seconds. Man picks up the signal from the sideline. Studwell organizing the Vikings defense for the Vikings on 2nd and 10. Very big defensive situation here. 2-point margin. Man gets time. Now gets it off. Complete, but it's dropped immediately. The ball carrier dropped immediately. Suey by Studwell. And it'll leave 3rd and 5 with the clock ticking. So they're going to try to get the ball out of bounds. They do over the head of Willie Galt. 5 seconds remains. And they will bring on Butler. Butler, who has a 40-yarder already to his credit today, the longest field goal he has kicked this season.
He's the leading scorer in the NFC. I think the leading scorer in the entire National Football League so far this season.
Kevin Butler, a rookie from Georgia, even without the veteran Bob Thomas, who wound up in San Diego. This one is a 29-yard try. Fuller will hold. He's got it. So with 2 seconds showing on the clock, the Bears have widened their margin to 6. As the Minnesota Vikings defense continues to play that kind of rock-steady style that the Bears have not been able to solve beyond that first touchdown, the pass to McKinnon, back early in the first quarter on their first offensive series. But 2 more field goals has given them the 13-7 advantage. With 2 seconds left, we'll have a kickoff play.
Do you think the Bears would dare kick off to Buster Rhymes, or do you think they'll take it short or something.
I'd say they don't want to give him an opportunity. They're kicking with the wind here, so it may be that Butler and his coaching staff will decide they can get it into the end zone. But there's Buster going over to talk to Bud Grant to get his instructions, the exciting rookie from Oklahoma.
He says you got to be crazy to love kickoff returns, and he loves it. So
against
he's second, isn't he? Second in the NFC.
Yeah,
and we have the 1 and 2 kickers, kick returners.
In that game at Minnesota, Buster had 6 kickoff returns against the Bears, rolling up 182 yards. Now, so there's some Ditka fans, it looks like here, as you might expect.
Mike, our mayor, is it Ditka for mayor?
Ryan's a deep man, and Butler did feel that he could get it into the end zone and through with his wind aid behind him, and so Minnesota with 2 seconds will have that one pop from the 20-yard line.
Well, you know, he let that ball bounce there in that end zone, almost didn't get out of the end zone. You got to be careful, go back there and make sure it clears, or it's a touchdown for the other team.
So Tommy Kramer and Jim McMahon locked in the passing duel. The fridge and the icebox have yet to confront each other. That may still occur in the second half. The fans sure want that scene here at Soldier Field. But so far, no conflict among the
way the Vikings are going to the line of scrimmage, you got to believe they're just going to fall on it or something.
Well, that's what they're going to do. So that'll do it for the first half here at Soldier Field. And what has turned into a defensive struggle has Chicago with 13 and the Minnesota Vikings 7.
Worth noting again. Watch Michael Jordan. Off the fake, come down the baseline. Lane Bear slams him down. The players exchange words, but so do the coaches.
How do you like this? When do you ever see this? Chuck Daly wants a piece of Stan Olbeck. And now Vinny Johnson.
Did anybody ever want a piece of Hank Stram during any coach? Or?
No, I thought Lou Saban and I had some good times together. We had a lot of fun, but I needed a little soapbox.
And give them the short yardage down the field. Otherwise, the Minnesota Viking defense has done very well against the #1 Bear offense.
That's right, and the Vikings defense has played very steadily all season long, and they're also a very good halftime adjustment team. Bud Grant kind of likes to come out and get the lay of the land, see what's happening out there, and they usually adjust very well at the half. What they really have to adjust for this second half, however, is their offensive scheme. They got to get something going.
Well, they certainly do, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You know, I was expecting to see, Bud Grant says we might not even see the icebox and refrigerator collide. He says that's only a small part of the football game, and he's been right so far.
That's the case at halftime. So the Bears 13, Minnesota 7. We'll be back for the third quarter in a moment.
Johnny Morris back in Soldier Field, and the local hero this week, anyway, William Perry, number 72, gets ready for the kickoff. He's been working on the specials for several weeks, and obviously quite an athlete. Today, the Bears have a number of their alumni for their alumni weekend. They have these one home game every year, and this year they featured the players from the decade of the 60s. And that group watching the game today includes people like Gale Sayers, Dick Butkus, Mike Pyle, Ed O'Bradovich, Ronnie Bull, and here, of course, Mike Ditka and Johnny Morris. This is Maurice Turner returning Butler's kickoff to about the 30-yard line. The fridge was there, and so was Sanders, the rookie, and Jim Morrissey, the reserve linebacker, number 51.
The refrigerator doesn't get to play too much, but he always seems to be a part of the action one way or another. This time on the short kick, they're kicking off short, staying away from Buster Rhymes, and there's 72. That's Robert Smith trying to block on him. He just kind of sheds through him until he finds the one with the ball, I guess.
It looks like he just knocked Smith back into the pileup. A lot of strength coming at you in motion, and he's on there now defensively. Perry at left defensive tackle to start this second half. The Vikings from their 30-yard line. In motion is Carter. Play action. Kramer. Kramer steps up, can't find an open man, goes to the release man, and Marshall just broke that up as it was intended for Steve Jordan, the tight end. And we see how things went in that first half. 230 total yards for the Bears. They had 14 first downs to 9 by the Vikings. They had the ball for about 5 more minutes, but they lead by only 6 points. McMahon was 14 of 25, 141 yards, a touchdown, and an intercept. Tommy Kramer, 10 of 20, 109 yards, and he had 1 interception.
And only 21 yards rushing for Minnesota the entire first half.
Walter Payton has 56 yards beginning the second half. 2nd and 10 Minnesota at the 30-yard line. Straight drop this time by Kramer. Sideliner can throw, incomplete to Lewis. Couldn't quite hold on. The ball was outside. He was looking inside, then turned around. Could not hold on to the ball. On the coverage, Ken Taylor again.
You know, that was a great play to Lewis that time, because the wide receivers in all these situations are going straight up the field on the fly pattern. This was a planned stop pattern because the Bears came on the blitz off their 46 defense, and this time Lewis was supposed to just stop, and he did. He stopped, but the ball was thrown just a little bit behind him. But that's a great pattern to run because these cornerbacks are just used to going with receivers up the field.
Ken Taylor continues to work for Mike Richardson, who pulled a hamstring in the first half, back in the first quarter, actually. On 2nd down, a long bomb downfield intended for Carter, and it is incomplete. On the 3rd down, that was, pardon me, so it is now 4th down. The Vikings will have to punt. Anthony Carter, coming over from the USFL, picked up in a deal with the Miami Dolphins, who held his rights. Former Michigan star. Coleman into punt, stands at his 15-yard line, and Ken Taylor at the Bears' 25.
That entire series only took 24 seconds. They ran 3 plays, only took 24 seconds. Throw, throw, throw.
Coleman with the win, gets a good kick. Taylor has some real estate, running hard, takes quite a shot. Flags are down. He got over the 35. 47-yard punt and a good 14-yard return for the rookie Taylor. Robert Smith, the man to really put the smash on him. And flags fell right at the point of contact.
And there was also a flag earlier, too, so we could have a pre-possession penalty and a post-possession penalty. We'll have to see what happens. There may be one on each team.
Referee Fred Wyant sorts it out with his staff, including today Dave Moss, Jerry Bergman, Joe Haynes, Rick Kantak, Bill Quinby, and Chuck McCallum. All their relatives at home. Happy to hear them acknowledged. And here comes Wyant with the call.
Oh, they both might have been against the Bears. It's got to be complicated. They're all getting in on it.
These guys should be in New York at the UN meetings.
Yeah, look at the Vikings.
Mistake for this one.
Illegal block in the back. Face mask. They'll refuse the illegal block in the back. Take the face mask. First down.
Well, that was so complicated that nobody got publicly announced as the varmint on the play, but it is against Chicago. And we want to remind you that most of you are going to be seeing our doubleheader action. The San Francisco 49ers struggling at 3-4 against the unbeaten Rams in the California rivalry. Some of you will see the Giants against New Orleans, and the Giants in the thick of things in the NFC East, and the Saints not out of it in the NFC West.
And we would remind you that Chicago viewers will not see either one of those games because the home game here in Chicago was on television. That is according to NFL rules.
3-man front for the Vikings with Tim Newton on the nose. Mulaney and Martin become the defensive ends. First down, Chicago, starting from their 18-yard line. First possession, second half. McKinnon in motion. Early action by the Vikings. Draw play to Payton. Payton has the first down and picks up about 14 yards. And if the Vikings were offside, that'll be refused. 13-yard gain for Payton. Studwell and Nord made the tackle. And the signal is against the Vikings.
Outside, number 55, declined, first down.
They called it on Studwell. I don't know. I don't think it was Studwell. I think it was somebody out to his left, one of the defensive linemen.
But he has to take the blame before millions of viewers.
Well, in the previous penalties, they didn't announce who the culprits were at all. And this time, they get the wrong man. First down. 3-4 long. Get it in motion again. Play action. Man to the tight end. Moorhead couldn't make the catch. Knocked out of bounds by Browner.
Moorhead went right to the bench that time. Both teams have been throwing to their tight ends a lot more. The tight ends caught, I think 12 passes for Minnesota last week, and the tight ends for the Chicago Bears caught a bunch of passes too. Emery Moorhead, you can see his career statistics, has caught some key ones for the Bears. Of course, Malarkey caught a key one last week, and Steve Jordan caught several passes for Minnesota against the Chargers.
Yeah, he had 8 last week. He had 4. Second and 10. Bears from their own 31-yard line. Walter Payton in motion out of the backfield throw set. Giving Suey a little collision with the quarterback. Studwell comes in, and he's able to slow up Suey with a little second effort, prevented a loss on the play, but the Vikings defensively reacted very well. Millard, Studwell, Bess, Teal all over there.
Actually, McMahon and Suey collided. You're going to watch 55. That is Studwell. I think he takes a little straight arm here. Suey shows some old-style football here as Studwell gets through the block, and then Suey gives him that little straight arm and gets away and was able to scrape through for a couple, 3 yards. But I'll say one thing, Studwell was persistent, wasn't he?
Persistent he is, the leading tackler on the Vikings. 99 tackles, counting solo and assists coming into this game today, and he's definitely the on-field leader defensively for the Vikings in every way. Out of the shotgun, Marjoram in at wide receiver. They flare it out to Payton. Again, there's Payton eluding the first attempt by Mullaney to stop him, and Payton turns what could have been about a 1-yard gain into about a 7 or 8 yard gain. But it'll still be 4th down.
All right, they did not get the first down. So even though Mullaney didn't get him, he forced Payton to cut back, and there was some pursuit to prevent him from getting the first down. As you can see, Payton just goes out of the backfield, and here comes Mullaney, but he did force Payton to cut back, and that takes time and allows the pursuit to come in from the inside, and Payton could not get the first down. So Minnesota gets the ball back.
Maury Buford gets it from the 29-yard line of the Bears. Darren Nelson, the deep man. The ball lands at the 30 and will be down by the Bears. 32-yard punt by Buford into the wind. Down by Cliff Thrift, and we have 12:13 to play. Third period. Bears 13-7. Sunny afternoon, breezy, but certainly a lot warmer than normal for this time of year in Chicago. The Bears leading Minnesota 13-7. Bud Grant said yesterday, I wish it was colder. It's supposed to be cold this time of year. That's when you have to make more coaching decisions. Get more involved out there. Deal with the elements. First down. Nelson dropped for a loss. Darren Nelson, swarm of dark-shirted Bears there. William Perry, number 72, and Richard Dent. That's a lot of weight to have down on a little 180-pounder.
Perry is playing a little bit more for Mike Hartenstein. He's in there a little bit more in this game than he has been in previous games. We're going to have some scores quickly here as New England has taken the lead over Tampa Bay 16-14 third quarter. Indianapolis 27-10 over the Packers. So it looks like the Packers are going to go 3-5 unless they come up with a big rally.
Taylor with a touchdown pass to widen that lead. Kramer, play action, and the pass intended for Jordan, who didn't expect it that soon. And he was being manhandled downfield on the coverage by Duerson. Couldn't get loose of him, and the ball was thrown over his head.
And he was claiming interference. Duerson kind of screened him off like a basketball screen, and he claimed interference, but no call.
Third down and 11. And we see Detroit continuing to lead the Dolphins 24-14. Buffalo shutting out Philadelphia. Bills are on a roll. Denver 27-10 over Kansas City in the third. Third and 11 here at Soldier Field. Shotgun formation for Kramer. Kramer, and he was hit by Dent, and the pass picked off by Otis Wilson. Touchdown.
The old Bear blitz does it again. As you can see, Richard Dent comes around and grabs him by the arm as he throws the ball and deflects it, and it bounces around, and Otis Wilson, number 55, picks it off. There was almost a tackle from behind there by Anthony Carter, and Wilson maintained his footing, got into the end zone, and the defense has put the Chicago Bears in good shape now.
23 yards for the touchdown. Off the interception, Otis Wilson. Butler for the point after. So suddenly the Bears on defense widen their lead. Chicago 20, Minnesota 7. Kevin Butler will kick it off. Otis Wilson taking the interception in for the touchdown. The second time the Bears have done that this season. We are now at the halfway point. Leslie Frazier had the other one. This is Buster Rhymes. And Rhymes with a burst of speed gets over the 25 to the 27-yard line. Butler's short kickoff into the wind. Tim Reitman made the tackle.
Let's take a look at how Richard Dent, watch the left of your screen, you see number 76, he's the right tackle, Tim Irwin for the Vikings, and he'll push off to his right, and Dent goes way around to the outside of him. Irwin doesn't have to block on Dent all that much because he's usually coming from the other side, and Dent, 95, batted the ball away, and there was Otis Wilson with the interception.
Kramer now 10 of 25, 0 of 5 this half. First down pass complete. Jordan, number 83, to the 32-yard line. Dewerson and Singletary on the coverage made the stop. A gain of 4 yards. It'll leave a 2nd and 6 for the Vikes. Ball at their 31-yard line.
Tommy Kramer taking the call from the sideline. He's saying, hurry it up, give it to me, as the coaches are trying to decide what they're going to send in. And, of course, the clock continues to run. Kramer now 11 of 26. He's had much better statistics before.
Well, he's had his best days at home against the Bears. He's been a successful quarterback overall. 4-1 at home in victories, 1-2 here at Soldier Field.
Now Dent's rushing from the same side again.
Quick pass to Leo Lewis. He's got real estate. Lewis tripped up by Fensick. The ball comes loose, but he was down by Wilbur Marshall at the 47-yard line of the Bears. Leo Lewis becoming a big play man for the Vikings.
Okay, the Bears off the 46 defense. Now Kramer spots what's happening, just goes with a quick post and give Lewis a good mark there for recognizing, just takes off in front of Taylor, almost breaks it. If Wilbur Marshall hadn't come from the backside, number 58 right there, and made sure of the tackle as Lewis was ready to break it there if he had maintained his footing. So big play by Tommy Kramer and Leo Lewis, the Vikings back in business.
His third catch, 62 yards on the day, and 20-yard gainer. First down, Vikings in their territory at the 48. Play action. Sideline complete. Lewis again. Lewis had just turned around and the ball was there in front of Fensick.
And that's really almost not a sideliner, Tim, because they're running off that fly pattern, and instead of going straight down the field, it's a timing pass where as soon as he feels he's got the defensive back running, he stops, because so many times they're running those fly patterns, and that's what you call timing. He hadn't even turned yet. Now he turns, the ball is almost there. That is precision passing,
Beautiful
my friends.
Job. Almost like a long hook, isn't it?
Right.
Excellent play to the 31-yard line of the Bears. Perry still in defensively for Chicago. Lewis goes wide left. Anthony Carter wide right. Anderson the lone setback.
He's calling an audible, I think.
Alfred Anderson, he's got a hole and picks up about 5. Good second effort by the big man from Baylor. Bears leading 20-7, 8:35, winding down in the third quarter. Marshall and Fensick on the tackle on that play. It'll be 2nd and a long 4. Alfred Anderson missed 3 games with the knee injury suffered in the first go-round against the Bears back on September 19th. Got into action last week against San Diego, primarily a passing game. That's their longest rush of the day by the Vikings. 6 yards to carry for 2nd and 4. And the pass out to Malarkey, the tight end. He has a first down at the 14-yard line.
Oh, what a great job by Kramer that time, because Dent was coming through slick and clean, and he had to get it up and over Dent and quickly. Now watch what Kramer, as he does, he has the fake, he's got his back to the backside. Here comes Dent right there, and he just threw it right over him and dumped the ball off to Malarkey, and Malarkey took it right down, finally knocked out of bounds. This is a nice drive by Minnesota.
Perry comes out of the defensive unit, and Mike Hartenstein comes back in. switch over his left end position. Perry's in there. They usually have McMichael outside him on the left side. The Vikings now threatening. 14-yard line of the Bears. Quickly to Darren Nelson. Nelson to the 5. Knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, he is taking advantage of the Bear weakness in the defense. That time you saw Wilbur Marshall coming, 58 from the outside. As soon as he knew that Wilbur Marshall was coming, he dumped the ball because that means coverage had to come from the inside to cover. Here comes Marshall, 58 on the outside, slick and clean. Kramer spots him, boom. There goes. We're going to take a look at it from a different angle as you'll see where Marshall comes from. And Kramer, he really recognizes in a hurry and just hit it out there to Nelson on the run. And it was up to Singletary to cover from his middle linebacker spot.
It is second down. They need about the length of the football for a first down. They've got McDonald in as an extra blocker. Anderson picks up the first down yardage. And about a gain of maybe 2, they'll spot the ball near the 2-yard line, where it'll be first and goal for the Vikings.
Well, Alfred Anderson is that big man they could use. They could have used him a few games ago when he was injured in a couple of games they lost on the 1-yard line. And, of course, with Ted Brown out, you know, he's even more valuable to have him in there.
Kramer was 0 for 5. We commented just a few minutes ago at the beginning of this second half. He's now hit 5 in a row for 63 yards, and he has first and goal. Alan Rice is in the game at running back. Nelson is out. The 2 bigger backs are in. Ted Brown favoring the Charlie horse. Not been in action yet, and they stack up Alan Rice. Chris Martin and Brown, the 2 injured Vikings, both in uniform, but not expected to see action today. Alan Rice, the second-year man from Baylor, stacked up probably a gain of maybe a half yard at the most, if anything. Second and goal. Bud Grant does not want any deja vu here. They've had some problems on their short yardage situations, although he disdained the use of somebody like Newton or Curtis Rouse. Of course, you'd have to take Rouse off of offensive line. That wouldn't make much sense. Nelson is back in.
I think they got to go up and over because the Bears are submarining quite a bit.
Now the crowd in the end zone making it impossible for Kramer to get his signals to his teammates. So he goes back to discuss that with Wyant, the referee.
Well, usually the noise factor is much bigger up there in Minnesota.
Yes,
where the noise really takes place. Yeah, it comes off the roof. Here it comes off the lake.
Second and goal, just inside the 2-yard line. Bears lead 20-7. Vikings with 6:40 remaining in the third period.
Now the Bear players are exhorting their fans to please knock off the noise. Notice Mike Singletary, he's number 50. He's back there ready to play, and he's about 4 yards off the line of scrimmage. And he's going to head for wherever the back comes from. If we take a good look at Mike Singletary, now watch him. He's ready to watch the action and fly through wherever the hole is.
In motion, Jordan. Play action. Pass. Nelson. Broken up. Incomplete. Marshall has the ball, but they rule it. Well, no. I think they're ruling the interception with him down. Marshall's still running downfield. I don't think with the roar of the crowd he realizes the play is over. And he goes all the way to the end zone. About 94 yards and spiked the ball. But he's just going to discover any second now that they're going to have it way back at their own 3-yard line.
Well, whenever in doubt, I guess you're supposed to run. And that time, Bud Grant came up with a pass out in the flat. Always dangerous when you're down on the goal line. He had 3 shots to get 2 yards, and he opted to go for the touchdown. And when you do it against a team like the Bears, you never know. Here comes Nelson out in the flat, and Wilbur Marshall with great instincts and reaction comes up. He's actually double covered. And Marshall makes the interception. And since there was contact at the time, they're ruling him down, and I think the call is correct.
That's a great interception, his 3rd of the season. Marshall got a little exercise, but they have the ball at their own 3-yard line. We'll be right back. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, where Wilbur Marshall is just intercepted for the Bears and got it to the 3-yard line. On the bench for the Vikings, the injured Brent Boyd, injured on that play. But saw Marshall intercept Tommy Kramer's pass intended for Darren Nelson. The Bears, McMahon from the end zone, and that might have been tipped. Otherwise, it was another one of those wounded ducks that he threw intended for the tight end Reitman.
Well, we may have seen the key play of this football game when Bud Grant, maybe when you've got 2 yards to go and you got 3 shots at it, I think you're not showing too much confidence in your running game because you ought to be able to get 2 yards. Everybody knows that the most dangerous pass is a flat pass out there down near the goal line like that because defenders don't have to worry about anybody getting deep on you. He went for it, and it did not work out.
Andy Frederick is in at tackle for Jim Covert on the left side of the Bears offensive line on 2nd and 10 from their 3-yard line. Walter Payton, and Studwell puts the stop on him, but Payton gets out close to the 7-yard line. It'll leave 3rd and about 5 for the Bears. 6:17 ticking down in the 3rd quarter. Wilbur Marshall with his 3rd interception of the season. Bud Grant was talking about how talented a young player he is, and that he thought that really in their scheme of things, the Bears defensive scheme, that Marshall fits in probably better than Al Harris, who had a Pro Bowl year last year, but was naturally a lineman.
Right.
Marshall's a natural linebacker.
Key play here, if they could stop the Bears would be forced to punt from their end zone.
3rd and a long 5. Payton dancing his way, picks his way, and will be close to the 1st down. Tripped up by Joey Browner, number 47 of the Vikings.
Looks like he got it.
And that tremendous effort, and Browner a little slow to get up. He has spent a lot of time around Payton today. 11 carries, 80 yards now for Walter Payton.
Well, that time the Vikings blitzed in all the gaps, and Payton was still able to get through. So
Payton had 112 yards Monday night against Green Bay on 25 carries. He's 4th in the conference with 534 yards coming into the game today. 1st down, Chicago. Some early action. Flags are down. McMahon eludes the rush and now takes it out of bounds with Mark Mullaney in pursuit.
well, somebody jumped off sides, or they were pulled off sides on that particular play.
Illegal shift.
Oh, they were
2
pulled
men
off.
moving at the same time.
Only in the Canadian League can you do that. 2 men moving.
Do they have to move?
Where was it? Right there, Jerry?
If 2 men can move, can they? And up in Canada, can they move? They have to be sideways, or can
They
go
can move anywhere.
forward?
Yeah, they can move forward, sideways, backwards.
That's not football.
It is up there.
Bud Grant used to coach up there. I guess it is.
Washington leading Cleveland 14-7. That's really settled into a defensive struggle. And Detroit continues to stay ahead of the Dolphins.
Illegal shift. 5 yards. 1st down.
14-7, Seattle over the Jets. That's a big game for both those teams. Quite a struggle going on in both east and west of the AFC. Miami and the Jets tied at 5-2 coming into the game. And Seattle at 4-3 trying to catch up with Denver and the Raiders. 1st down and 15. The ball is at the 9-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Give it to Payton again. Payton cuts inside a block. Works his way out over the 20-yard line. He's short of the 1st down, but another pretty piece of running by Walter Payton. Browner and Dolman on the tackle.
He follows his blocking so well here. As you watch the interior lineman on the fake, and you're going to see 63, Jay Hilgenberg, the center, drops out and pulls. Now Payton's going to play off the block by 63 Hilgenberg and then cut back to the inside. He follows his blocker so well, and finally a host of Minnesota Vikings bring him down, but now the Bears have a 2nd and 3. That 1st down they got a moment ago was a real backbreaker.
12-yard gain for Payton on the play. The ball at the 21. Payton behind Sewell. Studwell put the stop on him, but it looks like he has the 1st down again. First down Bears out to their 25-yard line. Medical report on offensive guard Brent Boyd of the Vikings a sprained ankle and will probably not return. There he is, number 62.
He was out for last year.
An injured reserve all of last season. Their third choice in 1980.
Tim Reitman is in at one of the at the tight end position.
First down for the Chicago Bears. Payton again. He's getting a lot of work, and he runs through tackles and picks up close to 10 yards. Payton starting to shred the Vikings defense, which had done a solid job in the first half.
And watch him bounce off a tackle here. This is a kind of slips and then comes back behind the slip blocks, and he'll get a boost from Chris Goldman, 56. He just boosts right out of it and goes forward for a couple more yards. And now what we're seeing is what we thought maybe at the beginning of the game, that the Bears would try and pound out some yardage and control the ball. Now they're controlling the ball.
And he's over the 100-yard mark, 104 on the day on 14 carries, the 67th time that he's done that in his NFL career. Second and a football. They give us to Suey. Suey with a big hole. Stack of Vikings throw him back, but he has the first down and then some to the 40-yard line of Chicago. Well, when Walter Payton gets more than 100 in the time that he's been here, it speaks for itself. 44 victories, 22 losses, and at Soldier Field helps even more. 27-7. So the Bears can start thinking with 147 remaining in this third quarter that maybe they're going to get to 8-0. If the Rams were to do that with the Bears, it'd be the first pair of NFL teams to do that since 1934. And in that season, the Bears were joined by the Detroit Lions, scoring that many victories without a loss. This is Suey. Suey pulled down by Joey Browner, reacting well to the play and drops him for a loss, but a flag is down. Joey Browner's had himself some football game today for the Vikings.
Now we probably have a call against the Bears holding, but they lost yardage on that play, so we have to see whether the Vikings will want to give them a repeat of a first down. The way the Bears have been moving the ball, they might think about, you don't usually decline a 10-yard penalty, but we'll see. They might do it this time.
Holding 58 and 65, decline, second down.
Well, that's what I do. Because of the way the Bears are making chunks of yardage, you might as well take it down away from them.
Well, coming up next on CBS, most of you will see those unbeaten Rams trying to join the Bears if the Bears get through the rest of this on top. The Rams and the 49ers. And a big rivalry and obviously big game for the Super Bowl champions, or the Giants at New Orleans, with those two teams still very much in contention in their respective divisions. Millard and Elshire come in for the Vikings on 2nd and 11. A pitch to Payton. Payton cuts inside one block and picks up about 5 or 6 yards, where Rufus Best is finally able to get him down, number 21. Studwell in on it as usual. Studwell gets in on nearly every tackle.
Yeah, 99 tackles. So we're going into this football game. He was in on 99. That's a lot of action.
Third down and a long 4 for Chicago. The ball now out at their 46-yard line as we're in the final seconds of the third quarter here at Soldier Field. Dolph comes out to the left. 10th play in this drive for the Bears, and 8 of them have been running plays. And they've been working. Well, this time it doesn't. Payton met behind the line by Mark Mullaney, the veteran from Colorado State. Hello, Walter. Dropped him for a loss of about a yard.
And he helped him up nicely, too.
So that's the end of the third quarter at Soldier Field with the score. The Bears 20, the Vikings 7. Fans have been introduced to some Bear fans because they've got big Bear buttons on. But they're definitely outfitted as Viking stalwarts.
I'd say they're surrounded, too.
Well, it's a nice warm day down there in the sun. Aaron Nelson waiting. The punt from Buford. And it rolls into the end zone. Sean Gale trying to keep it out. Unable to do so. A 55-yard punt. And the Vikings will start from their own 20. And looking at the stats through the third quarter, you can see the Bears have now got 18 first downs to 13 by the Vikings. And nearly 300 yards of offense. Those 3 turnovers, costly of course, and the worst of them being the interception by Wilson, taken in for a score, and then the next one with him in scoring position, having it picked off by Marshall. And they've been starting in reasonably good field position, but those 2 interceptions stopping anything they've gotten started. Kramer for Darren Nelson, and forced out by Dewerson at the 24-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6. We are just underway in the fourth quarter at Soldier Field. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris.
And we should point out that now, excuse me, the Vikings are throwing against the wind, so that could affect longer passes. The Vikes don't throw that many long passes, but it's a pretty stiff wind.
Bears have got the refrigerator in the lineup again with Michael moving outside the left defensive end. And they're in their 46 defense on 2nd and 6. With the 2 linebackers lined up on the left side. Kramer, and he is sacked. Otis Wilson blowing straight through, the 2nd sack of the day for the Bears. Nobody touched him, and it's back at the 15-yard line.
Wilson will come from the right side of your picture, and he comes inside Tim Irwin, 76, free and clear. And the only person that could pick him up would be the back, and that was Darren Nelson. He got caught up in the middle of the offensive backfield, no chance. And that's the 46th defense for those linebackers, 2 of them over on that one side of the line. Now they're going into the 46 again over on this side of the line. You can see 58 and 55.
3rd down and 15. Out of the shotgun. Kramer buried again. Dan Hampton, and right with him, number 72, William Anthony Perry, and right behind him, Otis Wilson. Flag down on the play, and I think that comes from a little action after the tackle.
I think it was Tim Irwin and Wilbur Marshall who got into it.
Personal foul penalty signaled against the Bears. Fred Wyatt will detail it for us shortly. So the sack yardage may be reversed.
There is one penalty against the Bears.
Unsportsmanlike, number 95, 15, first down.
That's Richard Dent, called for unsportsmanlike conduct, something that occurred after the sack had been made. And so the good work by his teammates negated by the penalty.
Well, he hasn't been in a good mood since he hasn't got a new contract yet. He's wanted to get his contract renegotiated and extended, and that hasn't come about yet. And he's made references throughout the season. He had 7 sacks coming into this game, but he's been rather ferocious, and that's a big penalty because puts in Minnesota in much better field position, you might say. Richard Dent, 17 and a half sacks last
15
year.
15 yards, 4th down.
Well, that penalty used to be automatic first down.
All right.
Well, there's still some confusion about it. They first said it would be first down.
The play was over.
4th down.
The play.
No, but at first they said it was going to be first down. In the first announcement.
3rd down.
Now they're saying
And
3rd down.
then they said 4th, and now they're saying 3rd because it occurred after the play was over.
We haven't tried 2nd yet.
Now that would be different. But 3rd down remains. In other words, it was 3rd down, and because it occurred after the sack had been made and the play was effectively over, the unsportsmanlike conduct occurred. So the yardage is marked off, but the down remains the same.
What has happened is that Mike Ditka's team and the defense especially, they blitz according to a weakness in the offensive line. And they say they blitz according to the offensive scheme of blocking, and they have found a weakness in the Minnesota offensive scheme of blocking and picking up the 46 defense.
3rd down and 3, and Bears lose the credit for the sack. And here we got another one, a pass intended for Nelson, another flag down. Several Bears landed on Kramer just after he got the ball off, and Kramer now trying to get at Richard Dent.
Yeah, Richard Dent came after him again.
I think Kramer may have felt that the ball was gone and that he was not a viable target. The flag is down on the play.
He says, get him out. I think he's saying get Richard out because Richard Dent out because he feels that Dent is.
We have a delay against the offense. Third down.
Ditka furious at Dent. It has taken him out of the game.
He just said third down again.
Well,
they said third down last time.
Well, there was a penalty.
Oh, no play.
And a delay of game.
Gives the Vikings 3rd and 8.
In other words, the play was a no play.
Delay of game penalty, so it is third down. Now they're backed up 5 yards to make it 3rd and 8.
Boy, watch out. It's going to be Katie bar the door this time.
Kramer gets some time, hits the pass, another flag down. Got the pass to Anthony Carter complete with Les Frazier on the coverage for the Bears, but yet another flag down. So this game degenerating into a flurry of penalties.
I don't think
a flag.
I don't think Carter got the first down. He was coming back. Now they call it against Minnesota.
A holding call signaled against the Vikings, and it did appear that he was short of the yardage. You're right. That'll be moot now. Well, it's not really moot because Sensing here can decide whether to take it or not.
Well, they're assuming that the Vikings would have to punt, but maybe
number 68. Third down.
They're going to take the penalty, put the Vikings deeper back, and really put the rush probably on Kramer again.
They needed about a half yard had they refused it, and it would have been fourth down. 13:59 still to play in regulation time. And I believe Tyrone Keys, yes,
18 yards.
the Keys that's come in for Dent.
Yes. No, Mike Hartenstein is in there, and Refrigerator.
Right.
They're in the 46 once again.
Third down from the 12-yard line.
Here they come.
And Kramer just threw that. He just had to unload. He had no chance to do anything else except get rid of the football. No chance to get it to Anthony Carter, who was in the general area. And so the Bears defense, a little over-enthusiastically in the case of Richard Dent, but they have forced the Vikings to punt. Finally. Coleman will stand in his end zone.
The Bear defense has been awesome. The Vikings just can't handle it. They can't handle the pass rush.
Dennis McKinnon is the return man waiting for it at the Bears' 45-yard line. Tim Taylor has been handling the punt returning duties. Good kick by Coleman. Into the wind, a dandy, driving McKinnon back to the 35. McKinnon breaks loose, gets over the 50, into the 48-yard line. Gimpy knee and all, a 53-yard punt by Coleman, but a 17-yard return. We'll return to Soldier Field after this word from your local station.
Light, Radio Shack, the computer experts.
On first down, the Chicago Bears picked up yet another first down to Tim Reitman. McMahon to Reitman. An 11-yard gain as the Bears started from the Minnesota 48 following McKinnon's punt return.
It was simply McMahon with the fake of the handoff to Payton and then a down and out by Tim Reitman, number 80, who has a high percentage of receptions for the amount of passes that are thrown to him.
A rookie from UCLA, drafted by the Bears back in 1982, went to the USFL, and in Chicago this year. First down. Play action. Man rolling, escapes the rush, and will start running out the left side. Gets a block from Payton and slides over the 30 to the 29. A gain of 8 yards on the play for Jim McMahon. Mullaney had him in his sights. Somehow, McMahon, like Tommy Kramer with eyes in the back of his head, got away.
Boy, you said it. You hit it right on the head. They had him dead to rights, and he has that great instinct, and he just ducked under it and wound up getting some yards.
Richard Dent, who was literally hollered off the field by head coach Mike Ditka, is now standing over there hoping to get some solace from his defensive coach, Buddy Ryan.
He wasn't getting much solace
No,
there.
he sure wasn't. Well, they made two really good defensive plays and then messed them up by taking a silly penalty. 2nd and 2. Peyton and the Vikings stack it up. Newton is there. The icebox, number 96, and Robert Smith, number 74, the Grambling rookie, getting some defensive time.
I can see it coming right now. The refrigerator man is going to be in there on offense before too long.
Well, if that one is the first down, we won't see him here. Let's check the scores. Meanwhile, Buffalo and Philadelphia. Now look at this. The Eagles have come back. They're within 3 in the 4th period. Meanwhile, they're measuring. Seattle leading the Jets 14-10, and the Jets got themselves into that one in the 4th quarter.
A little short.
Just short. Oh, the crowd is starting to... The crowd is saying it's refrigerator time. New England leading Tampa Bay 23-14. The Bucs still looking for their first victory of the year and failing. And Detroit continues to dominate Miami. Lions at home. Fuller on the Bears sidelines. We see Denver over Kansas City 30-10. Trying to get the attention of the offense. I don't know whether they've got the play in there that they want.
Well, McMahon is not sure. He's come back out of the huddle looking for another signal. He wants to make sure he's got it right. 3rd and about 2 inches to go.
Ball is at the 27-yard line of the Vikings. 12:15 to play. 4th quarter. Bears leading 20-7. High formation with Suey and Peyton gets the pitch. Peyton steps inside a tackler who had a good shot at him, Carl Lee, but Peyton got the first down to the 22-yard line. How frustrating that must be for tacklers to see what that great running back can do. There's Lee, makes a good defensive play, gets himself in position to drop the guy for a loss and stop the first down, and bing, Peyton's by him.
And the key was, though, once he got the position and forced Peyton inside, there was no pursuit from the inside, so you have to give some credit to the interior blockers of the Bears doing their seal blocking, so there was no pursuit from the inside.
He was all by himself, one-on-one against Peyton. That's a tall order. First down at the 22. Wide left goes McKinnon. Split right, Willie Gault. Now they're in the full set. And will pass on a short drop to the tight end Reitman. And Browner hits him immediately. There'll be a gain of maybe 2 yards at the most. Joey Browner has been outstanding today for the Minnesota Vikings from the safety spot.
Well, he really has. I think it's because he's got a spot now.
A home.
He's the safety, the strong safety, and he knows where he's going to be. He's adapted to the position and he plays. He's just played a super game. He really has.
6'2", 205 pounds, and he's just an ideal size because he's also got very good speed. So he can be punishing against the run. He can cover on the pass. And he's had himself a fine afternoon. 2nd and 8 from the 20-yard line. Over Peyton, and he has dropped this time, got maybe to the line of scrimmage, and it was Doug Martin, number 79, wrapping him up. 19 carries for 118 yards on the day. The Vikings have rushed the ball only 13 times for 29 yards. There's the differential right there.
Well, the Bears were number 1 against the run in the National Football League going into this game, so it figured that the Vikings, who have not been a prominent rushing team anyway, weren't going to get a lot of yards rushing, and I think Bud Grant knew that going in, and his game plan was to throw the ball.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down and 8 for the Bears. Willie Gault in motion off the halfback spot. Screen to Peyton, one-hand catch, gets a block, and Peyton, touchdown. 20 yards for the score, Johnny. 2 wide receivers made the key blocks.
Yes, and you saw Willie Gault was running all over the place there out of his motion. 83 back one way and then back the other way, and then he waits as McMahon goes back
and just flips it. Just almost didn't get the pass off, it looks like there, but they had him suckered in. Now here comes Payton, 34, makes the super grab, gets the block there from Hilgenberg, and then downfield was Brad Anderson throwing the final block, but that was an easy one. Once Payton gets within 5 yards, he's going to make it whether there's a blocker or not.
Fuller will hold for Kevin Butler. So with 9:36 to play in regulation time, the Bears have now taken a 27-7 lead. Walter, that following our doubleheader action today, you'll have this lineup tonight on CBS. 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, Crazy Like a Fox, and Trapper John M.D., our outstanding lineup of Sunday night entertainment. And, of course, we've got more football action to follow around the nation. The Rams and the 49ers, most of you will be watching, and the Giants and the New Orleans Saints going into some of the cities around the country. 8th touchdown of the season for the wondrous one. Buster Rhymes, the deep man for Butler's kickoff. Comes down at the 4-yard line, and Buster Rhymes will bring it up, and he is moving. Rhymes inside Bear territory, tackled from behind by Dennis Gentry. Some guys have the knack. Buster Rhymes has it. A 49-yard kickoff return.
Great running by Buster Rhymes. The kick didn't get into the end zone because they just didn't get the foot on it, and Rhymes goes up to the right, and Gentry does a good job where Rhymes would have been gone. Good blocking by the 4 horsemen. Now, as he cuts back here, he has to lose a little bit of his speed, and that's what enables Gentry to make the tackle from behind. Otherwise, Buster Rhymes would have been gone. He was just starting to turn it on here, and here comes Gentry from behind to make the block. Minnesota Vikings have a big chore now.
Wade Wilson has come in at quarterback, replacing Tommy Kramer. And a bobble on the first play, an alert effort by Wilson to pick it up. Flags are down. But on the first play, as often happens, a quarterback comes in, hasn't had action.
False start, offense. 68.
False start is charged against Curtis Rouse. And meanwhile, Wade Wilson making his first appearance. Kramer's taken every snap in the regular season for the Vikings. So Wilson and Swilly having a little problem with the first snap, and 5-yard penalty on the false start charge against Rouse. 1st and 15. Wilson under pressure from Dent, and the linebacker, is it Singletary or Marshall?
Singletary.
Singletary, number 50.
Boy, they're like players possessed now. I mean, the Vikings can hardly slow down the Bear pass rush now. They're just trying to slow them down. It's not a great spot for Wade Wilson to have to come into this football game. But at least he's getting a chance to play. Tommy Kramer did not have one of his better days.
No, he finished up 16 for 33, 176 yards, 3 interceptions. And the magic that he has worked against the Bears a number of games was not there today against this fierce Bears defense.
Here they come.
Wade Wilson just got it away, took a big shot from Steve McMichael and from Dave Dewison on the safety blitz, and the pass incomplete downfield.
The Bears came off the 46 and sent everything but the kitchen sink. Only 3 defenders down the field, and here's what Wade Wilson had to combat. He saw all those dark blue jerseys coming after him, and they crunched him in between. They squeezed him, and down he went. So everybody wants to play, but this is not a good situation for him to be playing under.
5th-year man from East Texas State, their 8th pick in 1981. He's played only in injury circumstances.
Here they come
High
again.
snap and a good play by Wilson to bring it down. Gets a little time and runs out of there. And is met at the 45-yard line by Gary Fensick, but another flag is down on the play. On the far side of the field, a flag down.
Encroaching, number 95.
And that is Richard Dent, encroachment.
Boy, he's always in part of the action one way or another, isn't he?
Well, he's certainly eager to get at that quarterback.
He's very quick for a big man, and they give him the outside rush position most of the time. So many times he runs around the offensive tackle. He has such quick feet, it makes it very difficult. And then every once in a while, he'll give you that little spin move and come inside. But the key...
Encroachment, defense. Third down.
The key is that the Bears are loading up their people so that they're coming in heavy on one side of the line of scrimmage, and the Vikings aren't able to adjust their blocking, and sometimes there aren't necessarily more rushers than there are blockers, but there's more on one side, and somebody can't get over to compensate. And there's the combination, Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan there on the sidelines. Both have to be happy, and it's just exactly the opposite on the other side with Bud.
Third down and 10 in Bear territory at the 49. Wilson from the shotgun. And it's caught by Jordan, made a fine catch, as it looked like the linebacker Wilson had a hand on the ball and nearly knocked it away from Jordan, but evidently it got through, and Jordan, good concentration. The man from Brown with the catch.
This time you see only 3 rushers, and watch all the linebackers drop back, and they cover the side of the field, and it was almost intercepted there. Nice grab by Jordan, as he almost dropped the ball, hung on to it, but he had a few more yards to get the first down, so the Vikings are in a punting situation, and Jordan now has 4 receptions for 26 yards.
Dave Dewerson is now the deep man who received the punt. It was short into the wind from Ray Coleman. Coleman angling for the corner, and Dewerson will let it go, and the ball comes down at the 5, and a Viking bounce. Good play by Joey Browner, and it'll be, well, Browner apparently had his foot on the goal line. This happened to them against San Diego. It's going to be a touchback. Vikings complaining. Sure looked like he was standing outside the end zone from our angle. 8:33 remaining in regulation time. Bears 27-7.
Chicago Bears steamroll their bitter rival. The rematch is set for Green Bay next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris, and as we called it as it happened, it has now been verified that indeed he was standing outside the end zone. Joey Browner makes a real good play on Coleman's punt, and it will be first down at the 2-yard line. You can see the official coming into the play, and he ruled touchback as though Browner had been on the goal line, but that was not the case, and he has been overruled.
Steve Fuller has now come in at quarterback. McMahon to the sidelines.
McMahon leaves 18 of 31, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not a bad day. He has only 7 interceptions on the season in 7 games.
Plus, he got out of the game healthy.
Yes.
He's waving to you, Tim.
Yeah, I guess. I think that's more likely to some friend in the stand. And don't forget, we've got more football coming up here on CBS today. Our doubleheader action will feature the Super Bowl champion 49ers, who have been struggling against the unbeaten Rams, going now, it would appear, to tie the Bears atop the unbeaten ranks, just the 2 teams remaining in that category. Giants at New Orleans will be seen in some parts of the country, and that's a key matchup between the NFC East and the NFC West. So it is first down from the 2-yard line with Steve Fuller at quarterback.
A lot of changes in the backfield. Dennis Gentry's in. Sanders is in.
Rookie Thomas Sanders is number 20. Dennis Gentry is number 29. Sanders picks up maybe 2 out to the 4-yard line. The rookie from Texas A&M, their 7th choice, who had a very impressive preseason. Mullaney made the tackle, and Dennis Folks now in at linebacker number 50. For the Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings have made several changes also. David Howard is in there. Isaac Holt is in there.
Isaac Holt, the rookie on the corner, has seen just a little bit of action today in their nickel and 6-man packages. Folks not seen action. John Turner is in also in the secondary. Fuller passing from the end zone. Sideliner to Moorhead, and it is incomplete. Did he catch it inbounds? Did not have possession inbounds, and it is ruled incomplete.
And who was right there? Joey Browner. Another good coverage by Joey.
Well, we mentioned earlier the Bears and the Rams, if they both are winners today, would be the first team's first pair since 1934. That year, the Bears and the Lions each won 10 consecutive games. The Bears finished the season at 13-0, went on to the title game against the Giants and lost. And this victory today will give them their best start since 1942. They went 11-0 that season. And Mike Ditka hoping that this great year, this great start, will have them in the Super Bowl. Fuller fell stumbling in the end zone, and there'll be a safety, and it's Neil Elshire, number 73, the veteran from Oregon, dropping him in the end zone. Fuller started to roll, seemed to lose his footing a little bit. Elshire was there to pounce on him.
It's almost like his knee gave out on him here. Just, if we can watch his foot there, he just, well, you can give a little credit there to Elshire, too, to cause that.
All right, 7:45 remaining. Bears 27, Minnesota 9. At his own 15-yard line. And 3 Bears stack him up at about the 23. Darren Nelson returning Buford's free kick. Sanders made the tackle along with Dennis Gentry. So the Vikings will start from their 23 with 7:33 to go. And we just had a whirlwind visit in the booth from Olympic silver medal ski champion Billy Kidd, who's also the commentator on CBS coverage of World Cup ski events. Told us he's going to be skiing here on the 9th of November.
In Chicago.
Worth a trip back to see anybody go skiing in Chicago.
It's got to be off a molehill.
Yeah, well, apparently he said he's going to build a ramp of some kind, so that'll be worth seeing. Wade Wilson continues at quarterback.
And the Bears are leaving their big guns in on defense.
First down, Minnesota.
Oh.
Up the middle to the tight end, Jordan. Good job to hold on. Steve Jordan makes the catch against tight coverage from Fensick and Dewerson.
Boy, Jordan took a pop from Gary Fensick and jumped right up like a top. And that's what a player like Steve likes to do. He doesn't want anybody to know they hurt him. Now, 45 is the top of your screen. There's Fensick. Jordan will come across, and here comes Fensick taking aim, 45. And down he goes, and Jordan jumped right up and says, I'm ready for the next play. Forget that one.
Gain of a little more than 9 yards. Second and short for the Vikings. Jordan has been very sure-handed today. Out to Alfred Anderson. He has the first down and gets out to the 44-yard line where Dent made the tackle on him. Dent ranging back in that unusual circumstance where a defensive end is involved out there in the pass coverage.
All part of Buddy Ryan's scheme of the things to keep the offense confused. What's 95 doing out there in the flat cover?
The Vikings rushing game non-existent today, as that statistic would indicate. And that's been a problem for them throughout the season. But nonetheless, they've won more games this year than they did all last year. They've still got half the season to go. Wilson's pass intercepted by Frazier. No. By Taylor, pardon me. Taylor 31, not 21. And Carter made the tackle on him, but the rookie, Ken Taylor, makes his first interception. He's playing out there because of the injury to Richardson.
Number 71 declined. First down.
A holding call against the Vikings, declined naturally by the Bears.
Miscommunication as Wade threw it right to Taylor, who didn't even move, didn't go for the coverage. He saw the pass there, and he says, okay, I'll take it. Nobody else wants it. Goes up the field and give Carter some credit. He came back and made the tackle, but there was a miscommunication between Carter and Wade Wilson on that one.
And let's correct that interception stat because it is Taylor's second, and he's holding on to that ball. The 4th turnover by the Vikings today. And a big part of their problem with the score on the board, 27-9 Chicago. Fuller gives it to Sanders. Sanders takes a hard shot on the corner, holds onto the ball as it squirted loose. And it had come loose before the whistle sounded, but the Vikings didn't see it there, and he was able to get it back again before the whistle blew.
Good play by Isaac Holt on that. He played off the block and made the tackle. As you look at Washington still leading Cleveland. Oh, that's a final now. The Redskins over Cleveland 14-7. That's an upset. Denver beat Kansas City 30-10. And look at Green Bay. Look at the Packers. It's Indianapolis 30-10 in the 4th quarter. So the Packers are going to go 3-5 and are basically out of it as far as any chance for a division title.
Washington gets even at 4-4 in that crowded NFC East. Dennis Gentry, and another good defensive play by the Vikings right at the line of scrimmage.
Chris Dolman, the rookie from Pittsburgh, talking to Scott Studwell about him yesterday, getting his opinion as a veteran of the youngster working on his left, and he said, boy, he's just got all of the physical attributes. 6'5", 250, the #1 choice. He said he's just playing a little tentatively, as you might expect in his rookie season, and getting to play there with the injury to Matt Blair. Dolman's been the starter all along and learning on the job training, which Bud Grant doesn't normally like to have his rookies do. But they think this guy is going to be just an outstanding linebacker. 3rd down. About 10 and a half. Fuller will throw up the sideline for Manis, and Manis has it. The rookie James Manis. With another rookie Holt on the coverage, it'll be 1st down at the 16-yard line. Who was number 81? He is a rookie from TCU, their 3rd choice in this year's draft, and that is his 1st reception of the year.
Yes, and it was a straight old fly pattern because the Vikings put the blitz on, and he threw it up, and Manis, as so often happens, he spotted the ball first and made a nice grab of it and chalked that up as #1. And we talk about the blitz. It was a good blitz, but it didn't get there quite in time, folks, with a really shot on Steve Fuller, but he got the pass away, and the Bears are threatening once again.
34-yard gain. The ball at the 16-yard line of the Vikings. 4:27 to play regulation time. Sanders in motion. Here comes the blitz. Fuller takes quite a shot, and that hit on him. Threw the pass off. And it was Howard, number 99, the rookie linebacker from Cal State Long Beach. Don't we have somebody around here that went to school at Cal State Long Beach?
Not me.
Well, you were
University of California at Santa Barbara.
Well, Santa Barbara. Long Beach, San Luis Obispo, they're all together there, just studded up and down the coast.
I think it was Elshire really gave it to Fuller again, coming from the backside. Fuller did sense it coming and took the hit.
That's
was that
Howard.
David Howard? I'm sorry, I thought it was Elshire.
2nd down and 10. Fumble on the play. Sanders just didn't get the handle on the ball on the handoff from Fuller, and it may be Viking ball. And yes, it is. Minnesota recovers the fumble, and the Bears are stopped at the 17-yard line of the Vikings. And it looks like it's number 52, Dennis Johnson, who came up with a loose ball. So the Vikings with 4:14 have some time to try to get it upfield. And remember, at the end of this game, we'll be going to our doubleheader action, and you'll see either the 49ers and the Rams. Most of you will. The battle for California. The Rams trying to stay even with the Bears. And the Giants will be in New Orleans. Next week, our action begins with the NFL Today. The Chicago Bears will be at Green Bay. The Vikings will be at home against Detroit. And other games, Philadelphia at San Francisco. The Buccaneers in New York against the Giants. The Meadowlands and New Jersey, to be more accurate. Wilson is swarmed under and sacked. Back close to the 5-yard line. Hartenstein and Keys combining on the sack.
Mike Hartenstein, number 73 on this sack, and Wade Wilson is now knowing what happened with Tommy Kramer. The Bears come with the all-out blitz again. 73. Hartenstein gets through on the inside and puts the clamps on. And we're getting, how many sacks do they have? We're going to start, that's 4 sacks? 4 sacks and a whole bunch of hurries.
Juan Rivera is in at linebacker for the Bears. And the Vikings have Mark McDonald in on the offensive line. He's getting a taste of the Bears' rush. Alfred Anderson nowhere to go. Wilbur Marshall put the tackle on him. Some other scores as we wind down here, getting ready to join the doubleheader action.
A final score, the Lions beat Miami 31-21, so the Lions are going to be 5-3 and will be the Bears' closest pursuer. The Bears will be 8-0. Look at this, Philadelphia rallied to beat Buffalo 21-17, and
wow,
Indianapolis scored once again 37-10. Things going badly for Forrest Gregg and company.
Wilson from the end zone, and it's complete. Good job for a first down out to the 28-yard line, Anthony Carter. Yeah, the Vikings come out from the shadow of the goalpost and get it to the 29-yard line. A 20-yard gainer from Wilson to Anthony Carter. Fensick and Ken Taylor on the tackle. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited.
Well, you know, Bud Grant is not used to taking defeats like this one. This is ends up being a pretty lopsided game with the Bears defense dominating as the game progressed.
2:18 to go. Wilson going deep and just overthrows Anthony Carter down the right sideline. Carter was behind Ken Taylor, but the pass a little overthrown. Wilson showing the strength of his arm. That was about 50, 60 yards in the air.
Anyway, to continue my comments about Bud Grant, is he saw this 46 defense. They used it a little bit as the Vikings used it a little bit. He saw that his team could not handle that strategically. They weren't getting beat so much muscling. Yes, they were getting beat by muscle too, but they were getting tricked there in that offensive line. And it's not very often that a Bud Grant team can handle something as far as the strategy of the game is concerned. So I'm sure they're going to go to the drawing boards and work on that.
Yeah, they were down just 13-7 at the half, and it looked like there was obviously lots of time for them to get back. But in the second half, Bears defense did it all. That's Alfred Anderson unable to hold on to Wilson's pass. It was there, but it's incomplete. Let's go to Brent Musburger at our studios in New York for an update.
Well, Tim and Johnny, perhaps the Detroit Lions are for real after all. They hosted, no, make it roasted, the Miami Dolphins today in the Silverdome. 3 touchdown passes by Eric Hipple. That one to Leonard Thompson. They win it by 10 points. Back to Tim and Johnny.
I like that Leonard Thompson. Glad to see him get an important score in that game. He's been a tough veteran for a long time for the Lions. Still a big play receiver. Made one there against the Dolphins. Third down, 3rd and 10. Eric Hipple looks like he had a good day in Detroit.
Here they come.
Wilson gets some time up the middle. Nice catch by Jones. Fensick cut him out from underneath, and Jones held on. A high catch, high pass, and a high catch, too, for that matter, by Mike Jones. 5'11", 175-pounder went up for it. We've reached the 2-minute warning with the Bears on top, 27-9. Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back at Soldier Field. It's been a beautiful afternoon for football, but the conditions weren't bad enough for the Vikings. They'd like it a little nastier as we look at Walter Payton and Jim McMahon getting a rest on the sidelines for the conclusion of this game. McMahon finished 18 of 31, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, along with his bruised butt and sore ankle. Payton had 19 rushes, 118 yards, 5 catches for another 37, and a touchdown. Wilson going deep, and it's intended for Jones, and that just missed. Just off the fingertips of Mike Jones. Wilson, again, showing he has no problem throwing the ball downfield. He's got a real gun. 6'3", 210-pounder. It'll be 2nd and 10. Wilson 5 of 11 now for 60 yards and 1 interception. But it's tough duty, as you said, Johnny, when a guy comes in and the game is really over and the defense is teeing off, and your offensive line has been out there a long time getting beat up, and they're a little discouraged, a little tired. Well, you're the victim. Go for it, Wade.
Well, maybe he can salvage a touchdown. It'll be good for him.
2nd and 10. Gets a little protection there, and the pass just off the mark, intended for the running back, Alfred Anderson, number 46. Well, we have a long day of football for you, and the people responsible for our coverage, executive producer Terry O'Neill, our senior producer Charles H. Milton III, and our producer at the site today, David Michaels, our director, Peter Bleckner, and our associate producer, Alan Brum. Field technical manager, Doug Cleedham in the truck, our broadcast associate, Bill Bonnell, technical director, Bob Chesney, and his outstanding crew. Thanks for the audio, Mike. And there's the pass picked off by Wilbur Marshall. His 2nd interception. Started to lateral the ball, tried twice. But fortunately for him, I think, held on to it.
He wanted a lateral, didn't he? He was looking for somebody.
And that's his 2nd pickoff of the day. The 2nd interception suffered by Wade Wilson. And Wilbur Marshall can certainly feel, hey, this is my job. Al Harris is a nice guy. And if he comes back, I'd like to see him, but I've got this position.
He has exploded onto the scene.
And we'll be joining shortly the 49ers and the Rams, or the Giants against New Orleans, except in the Chicago area. These folks will not get to see any more football on CBS this afternoon. 1:36 to play. First down. Steve Fuller brings the Bears out at the Minnesota 45-yard line. Dennis Gentry. Gentry gets a good block, shakes the tackle, dances down the sideline, and goes out at the 30-yard line of the Vikings. 15-yard pickup by Dennis Gentry, the 4-year man from Baylor.
Good running by Dennis Gentry, who doesn't get to play all that much. And, of course, the Minnesota defense has had a little bit of a letdown now. I mean, the defense actually did not play a bad football game, Tim. The offense got him into trouble on a couple of things, and it makes the score look a little bit worse than that. The Minnesota Viking defense has played pretty good football.
Yes, they have, and that's been certainly a big part of the reason why they've won 4 games already in the first half of the season. Quite a turnaround from a year ago. 1:29 to play. Gentry going to the left side, gets a block from Sanders, and a good one, and gets to the 20-yard line, chased out by Browner. A flag down. Browner chased Gentry all the way over to the wall over there, but then helps him out. Boy, you look for bright spots individually in the losing performance. Joey Browner, he's not alone out there, but he has been a stick-out defensively.
Well, if you go back and just think about this football game, and you think of the deflected pass that Otis Wilson took in.
Face mask, number 47, 5 yards.
You know, the offense was responsible for that. When you think when they were down there ready to score, they had that key interception. And I know that there's some yards that Minnesota's given up, but they've given up yards throughout the year, but they've bent and, haven't broken too much. So I just don't think it's all that bad for the Viking defense.
We're going to this game most of you will be seeing, and the 49ers have taken the lead over the Los Angeles Rams in New Orleans in front of the Giants 3-0 at the Superdome. First down. Bears. Thomas Sanders straight ahead for about 5 to the 8-yard line. Keith Van Horn slow to get up. He's playing with a sore knee and a sore ankle anyway. Keith Millard and John Turner made the tackle. It'll be second down and about 5 to the first down. They need to get to the 3-yard line.
The fans just reacted to the Ram 49er score because they know that the Bears would be the only unbeaten team. As you look at William Perry, the refrigerator, will he get in this game? Bud Grant says we might not even see him on offense, and he was right about that. It's possible, unless the Bears get down to the 1 with Mike Ditka, send him in there with the Vikings think they're rubbing it in.
I don't
That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think they will. That'll be my guess. Here's Gentry. Inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line, and he may have first down yardage there. 23 seconds left on the clock. They're looking over for the play.
They're letting the clock is running. And
14 seconds, and they'll let it count down. Or will they?
Yep, they're going to let it count down.
Yep. All right, so the Chicago Bears go to 8-0 with a 27-9 victory for Johnny Morris. Tim